How is your fundraiser going this year? If it's anything less than amazing, it's time to talk to Sean Murphy at FanPledge. No product to sell, nothing to deliver, and guaranteed results. Raise at least 10% more than your current donation based fundraiser, or it's free. Fun, fast, proven. Call Sean at 903-948-7348. FanPledge. The champions are already on board. Are you? Band Yap is proudly sponsored by Troubadour Consultants. When it comes to planning group travel for your fine arts program, look no further than Troubadour Consultants. Whether you're organizing a major out of state trip or need top notch accommodations for the state marching contest, John Mize and his team are ready to create a custom travel experience that meets your band's unique needs. As a family owned, band director run company, Troubadour understands exactly what it takes to make your trip stress free and seamless. Plus, when you book a trip with Troubadour, they will sponsor a $500 college scholarship for a student in your band. Directors who book will also receive a free Mollard baton as a special thank you. Visit troubadourconsultants.com today to start planning your next trip with the experts who truly get it.
That's when I decided to start dynamic marching in the 2006 era. And that was, we did a 1 hour video on how to teach visual. And so that was the start of the company. Shot on a camcorder, handheld. I don't even think I used a tripod. Who would have thought that, in high school that would have been something that I ended up doing, knowing that I was majoring in science.
Hello and welcome back to Band Yap. My name is Alexa Sanchez.
And I'm Jose Sanchez.
And today we have the ultimate camp counselor. We have Jeff Young.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Jeff.
Yeah, how's it going?
Happy to be here.
Jeff, can I ask you a question? I mean, this whole entire thing. Yeah, we ask a whole bunch of questions. What hair product do you use?
I don't even know what it's called.
Because every single time I see you, I'm sorry, if you've never seen Jeff, he has the best white/gray hair, and you pull it off. Yeah, you pull it off better than almost anyone I've ever seen.
Oh, thank you.
My
wife encouraged me to grow it out recently, and I'm like, wow, it's a lot of hair.
No, it's seriously it's always well done. And then like I said, not everyone can pull off the gray/white the way you do, but man, you rock it. It's almost it's like a statement that you're hip, but you're just this is just what color it decided to turn.
I mean, my grandpa on my mom's side had full head of white hair my whole, growing up, when the time in life where I remember him, as a young adult and an adult. And it was like sticking straight up, like military style. So I called him Furzy Head.
Funny.
So yeah, I'm sure I inherited my white hair from him.
But some people just can't pull it off. It's just whenever those people who get the monk bald spots. Mm-hmm. Some people just okay, that fits you, and then other people are just shave it all off.
Well, some people don't have very voluminous hair.
Yes,
it seems that Jeff's hair is very voluminous.
Yeah, I don't have a bald spot. I'm really grateful.
I know. I'm always afraid.
He's kind of killing it. Yeah.
On the podium, I'm always somebody's going to take a picture. Yeah, and there's going to be that little glimmer. I'm glad we could open it up that way. Well, yeah. Jeff, the reason why we're here is to get to know how awesome you are and all the wonderful things that you are a part of, and for you to tell the world a little bit more about yourself. Can you tell us about your background, education, teaching experience, those types of things?
Yeah, like my curriculum vitae, or my resume. I went to the University of Notre Dame, and I graduated with a degree in biology in a long time ago. And then I went to Indiana University, got my master's degree in curriculum and instruction. I've taught at 3 different high schools over the course of 25 years, although 20 of those years were at Carmel High School in the north suburbs of Indianapolis area.
I'm going to say, where's that? Who?
So yeah, that's kind of my main, the main thing is I was a teacher for 25 years. Shortly after COVID 2021, I was able to move over to Music for All full time. It was at the time a new position, director of camps. There really wasn't anybody internally at Music for All who only thought about camp all the time. So we had kind of a retreat during COVID with some of the division coordinators from the different parts of camp, marching band, drum majors, that sort of thing. And one of our recommendations to Music for All was, hey, it would be helpful to us, people who are faculty at the camp, if there was one person we could go to with all our questions. Yeah, and everybody kind of looked at me and was like, Jeff, you'd like to do that, right? And I was like, actually, I would. So yeah, it worked out great. I got married on the 21st of November, and then I did the Rose Parade with the honor band, and then I started my new job. That was all like that in that same time frame.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah. What do you do with that? So, okay, you went to, well, let's backtrack. So you did band. Where are you originally from?
I went to Carmel.
My goodness.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
a
I mean,
legacy, as they would
Carmel
say.
Junior High School, Carmel High School, straight to Notre Dame. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. Wow. I don't know anyone that's that connected to that school.
Well, I mean, there's 5,500 students at Carmel High School right now, but when I was there, it was about 2,000. So I mean, it's one of those areas where like it could have split into two high schools a long time ago, but the city of Carmel decided a long time ago not to do that and
Mm.
to embrace the largeness of the student body.
Yeah, that sounds a lot like Allen High
Mhm.
School down here in
Yeah,
Texas. Have you ever? Yeah, where it's like
700
600.
people in the
Oh,
marching band. Yeah,
Exactly, yeah.
ridiculous.
yeah,
Well, the director there, his name's Philip Obato,
Mhm.
and Philip is a former like college band director.
yeah,
And
Yeah.
so, like, you almost have to be a college band director to handle that
He
band.
was one of
yeah.
my directors at Baylor, yeah.
Like,
He
that is
was.
absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So, okay, what's your primary instrument? Trumpet.
yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I started in fourth grade on trumpet.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
Yeah, music just kind of is a part of my upbringing. I remember like really early memories of my dad practicing trombone. My dad is retired anesthesiologist, but um, still plays his instrument way more than I do. He's actually in a pep band. It's called the Parent Pep Band for the Carmel Band program.
That's so cute.
We can come back to that if you want, but dad, my earliest memories of someone making music was my dad sitting in his office in his Ermon Miller chair, practicing. And my great grandpa had a shepherd's crook trumpet, and he was like a bugler in World War II and played trumpet. And he actually gifted me his shepherd's crook trumpet when I was in third grade. And so like I wanted to start immediately, but I had braces. And then as soon as I came out of braces, I started playing trumpet, and really, really liked playing trumpet. I don't really play anymore. I mean, can I read music still? Can I make sounds that sound pretty good for 10 seconds? Yes. And I still have my trumpet, but right around the 2000 mark is where I just switched to all visual. So I wasn't teaching sectionals after the year 2000 or so.
wow.
Wow.
So, like, pretty much you got an adrenaline like shot of like music and band and everything like that.
But yeah, I mean, my middle school or my junior high, I guess it's called Carmel Middle now, but Carmel Junior High, Don Fisher was a band director there, fantastic band director, and just a kid magnet, great guy. He really, um, he, I remember jazz band in seventh grade, like playing popular tunes, and like it was just like I was meant to do this. This is really fun, and we were good. Went to the Kings Island Jazz Festival or something, and did pretty well. But I just remember it being really a really great experience. I had a great private lesson instructor right off the bat. His name's Paul Hilgeman, and he was third chair in the Indianapolis Symphony Orchestra. Just had a handful of students. Nobody else I knew took from Paul, but super interesting guy and great player. So yeah, you know, I got to sixth grade when everybody else started, and I was in the seventh grade band. And in seventh grade, I was in eighth grade band. And eighth grade, I was in ninth grade band. So like I kind of like just got the bug early, and being good at something's fun. So you get then getting better is even more fun.
And well, that's such a hard thing to teach in a lot of ways, because especially what we do is such a delayed gratification process. And so we actually just went over that with our leadership team. I'm like, well, we have volleyball players, we have football players, we have all these basketball players. And I go, okay, what's one of the big difference between band and all our athletic events? And they're like, because, high school kids will take that process to think for a long period of time. Drool starts thinking, uh, you know, I go, well, like, here's the thing. When's your first performance? They're like, first football game. And like, we have a calendar countdown for it. And it's like, we are still 44 days away from our first true performance.
Yep.
Versus I go, okay, when's volleyball? Well, they practice for 6 days and then they have a tournament.
Yeah.
And,
Totally.
and so just learning how to overcome some of those obstacles. When you were doing, like, okay, let me ask you this. So you did that, you went to Notre Dame. So what you said you majored in biology. So how did you get plugged back into the band world?
I never left. I went back maybe so my sister was 2 years behind me. She was in color guard at Carmel, and I went back and started just teching, doing sectionals. Mike Pote, great trumpet player, he was a band director, and so he did all the trumpet sectionals, and I was like, I'll just do mellophones. And so for years I was mellophone section, just notes and rhythms all the time, and I was their section staff member while I was in college. But yeah, I mean, I never wanted to be a band director. I wanted to be a doctor. My dad's doctor. I was like, I'm going to be a doctor. So I majored in biology. I was good at it. I enjoyed the sciences. You know, like I saw even before band directing became like really hard and really time consuming. Like even back then, I was like, yeah, I'm not interested in all of that after school stuff. Now, fast forward to now, you know, I've spent a million hours doing marching band, but in the spring, I didn't have anything to do after school. So, I had a little bit more balance. The main class that I taught was anatomy and physiology at Carmel High School. So I've pretty much taught not physics, but chemistry, AP chemistry, biology, AP biology, IB biology, anatomy and physiology, zoology, biology. I've taught all of that, but my favorite by far was anatomy and physiology. And that was part of my pre-med training in college too. I just really got into it.
Wow, I didn't know that. Like, that is almost like earth shattering, like window
Yeah.
shattering for me, because it's
Like,
like
surely he's a band director, right?
yeah.
Nope,
Well,
not at all.
it's like you're like the face of the camps.
Yeah.
It's like there's a knowledge
I've
drop right there.
devoted my whole life to music education. And, I actually just had lunch with my science department chair from Carmel, Jennifer, and we were talking today, and like she always knew, like I'm a good science teacher, but my passion, you know, if you were to look at the two, you're like, clearly he's like way more into that, right? So like, and I was teaching Carmel through the years where Carmel was getting good. I was drum major of the band in the year that they won state finals for Indiana State School Music Association for the first time. And then, we didn't go to Grand Nats. We eventually around 97, 98, I think is when we first made Grand Nats finals. And then, this is when I'm becoming a really like figuring out how to teach visual in the late 90s. And then in the early 2000s, 2005 was Carmel's first Grand National Championship. So like I grew with the program. I became a better teacher as the program became better. We all did. It was, Richard Saucedo, Mike Pote, Andy Cook, and me. And, guard folks and percussion folks and like people like Mike McIntosh and Rosie Miller Queen. And like but the core team at Carmel was together. I mean, Mike Pote retired this year, and the core team has been the same for like 30 years. So we all grew, we all got better. as the band program was getting better.
Wow. Okay, so let me back up again because there's just so much history to unpack on
Yeah.
this. Okay, so you went into the high school program, and so was Michael Pote the head director there at that point, or
No,
who's
Saucedo was head director
oh, who's
when I
that?
was in high school. Yeah. Still today, a great friend of mine. So I remember the first time I walked into his band room. Freshmen were not at the high school at the time, so I was a freshman, and they put out a call to freshmen saying, "Do you want to come help with the marching band for the last week of the season?" Because they needed people to pick up flags on the back sideline. And I remember the first time I walked into that band room, and they fit us for uniforms. So we like full wool uniform and everything just to go out and collect flags. And I was like, the first time I walked into the Hoosier Dome, which is what it was at the time, I was like, I'm hooked. Absolutely. Like, this is the coolest thing. The crowd, the dome, like the airlock, the competitive aspect of it. Completely hooked as a freshman. So sophomore year, there was no question. I was definitely doing marching band. So yeah, at the time it was Greg Bell, Richard Saucedo, and Mike Pote. And Andy Cook. Mike Pote came along then. Andy went away for a little while and came back. And then eventually Kyle Young became another band director, and Chris Crakey, he's department chair at Carmel. So Mike Pote was like director of bands and incredible concert and jazz band. He's an incredible musician. I think Saucedo maybe retired in 2013, something like that. So yeah, we worked together for 20 years.
So how did the longevity of those directors being in those roles, how did that affect the outcome of what Carmel is today?
I'm not sure you can I'm not sure there is a Carmel without that team, that longevity. It's not that like this great band director came in there and then this one did. It was like, Kyle Young up until when Pote retired just now, Kyle Young's been there for like 7 years, and he's like the one who's been there the least, right? So Pote's been there for forever, and Chris Crakey and Saucedo was there for a long time. Andy Cook retired last year. But without any of those pieces of that puzzle, Carmel is not Carmel for sure.
Well, that comes back to like understanding how to build a program. And I mean, because you said like the first time they had one state when it was when you were in high school, like
Mhm.
I can't imagine what it is for you as an alumni
Mm.
to see what that has been from the point where they weren't doing those types of things to the point that they are now. Like, can you talk about that a little bit?
I mean, when I was in high school, we winning state championship, we were good. I mean, we were a really good band. But then this is like right around a time where it stopped being more college style marching band. You know, symmetrical drill across like
We call it Millicore.
yeah,
Millicore.
right. I mean, if I don't know where those drill sets are, and I think Matt James from Lawrence actually wrote our drill, but I probably could teach that show in one day to the Carmel band right now. Like it, at the time it was challenging and whatever, but like I think our middle tune had 3 drill charts. It was like play, stand and play, move, stand and play, move, stand. It was like kind of a different world. But we were really good at the time. And then we started seeing this Grand Nationals become a thing. When it came to Indianapolis, it wasn't always here. There was a summer championship, 50 years ago. There was Music for All is celebrating its 50th year. And so, over the course of that time, things have changed. And then you start looking at, Center Grove from 1995, and you're like, whoa, 97 Center Grove. There were some groups that were doing some really out there things. If you remember, Star of Indiana, when that was a thing, they were starting to push boundaries, and they were I think probably the first drum corps to start using choreography and dance as a part of it, as opposed to just marching. So like I'm around this whole this pot of this stew that's happening this whole time. Charlie Gumbert, who's for a long time was the executive director of Pride of Cincinnati, he came in and taught us how to dance. And this is like way, way before this was a normal thing. There's this way before the breakdown camp and dynamic marching and all this stuff, right? So Charlie came in, and I was like, I did gymnastics in college for fun. It was a club sport at Notre Dame, and my friend Tracy was doing it. He's like, "Come on out; it's super fun. We're gonna get in shape and meet some new people." And I had no idea at the time that decision how much that would help me now, because I'm teaching dance at a pretty high level for band kids now. And so the flexibility I learned in gymnastics and strength and balance and body control, but understanding of my body, like all that really helped when I transitioned into marching and movement instructor.
Wow. That's just like crazy to me.
Yeah.
I mean, like I don't think there are probably very few people that have the same type of journey that you have in a program that you like have nurtured and have come from. Like, I don't know. I really don't know. I'm like
No.
dumbfounded.
Yeah.
Like, that is awesome and crazy. And
Well,
Yeah.
like I tried out for Star of Indiana my senior year, and I made it on soprano back at the G Bugle, and I didn't end up doing it because I had a conversation with my parents, and they were like, Notre Dame's kind of expensive. You're going to want some spending money. Like, you should probably get a job instead of doing drum and bugle corps. And I was like, yeah, you're absolutely right. And like at the time, I was like, it wasn't even like I was crying about it. It was like, you're right. I'm not doing that. And then they won that year. So like, I remember being at finals and being like, dang, that stinks.
Yeah.
And then all those people went on to be in the Broadway cast of Blast. Not all of them, but a lot
yeah,
of the
big chunk
good
of them. Yep.
movers and players in that went on to be in Blast on Broadway and London and all these. And I'm so like, But
Thanks, Dad.
now I was more like disappointed that I didn't do it at the time. But now looking back, I'm like, I'm still working with all those, the people who are in Blast. And like I still I'm involved in the activity. I never would have known I'd be still involved in marching band now.
Yeah. So, were you in the marching band at Notre Dame?
I did 1 year. I really wasn't into it though. Honestly, like first week I was like, I want out. And then I was like, no, I made a commitment and I need to stick with it. But like, honestly, probably should have quit. Except I did get to go to the Sugar Bowl, which was fun.
That is,
you know. But I think it just wasn't.
It's okay.
We're leaving that in.
Jordan was calling me. Jordan Lalama, good friend of mine who's also a visual teacher. So yeah, I maybe should have quit, stuck with it. It was fine. I met some people, had some experiences, but like, I think that, it wasn't competitive, and it was, I don't know. I felt like people were taking it really too seriously. And I was like, guys, this is like nothing compared to like a full marching band show. I know a lot of people love it. I'm not putting it down. For me, college marching band was not it. Didn't like it. Yeah. I did jazz band 1 year. Had the meanest, I guess he was, what was his name? Father George. Father George was Kirschen. And actually, if you talk to jazzers, like he knew his stuff. But he was mean. He was real mean. And then Luther Snavely was our band director. I think I took concert band 1 semester, but I really got into gymnastics. Honestly, like I spent all my time at the gymnastics facility over at St. Mary's College and met lifelong friends doing that. Had a blast. It's just a weird decision I made on, week 12 of college. And then I just kept doing it.
That's crazy. Like how sometimes like one single decision will, determine the whole entire, direction of your life. It's you just never know what's going to happen. That's just, oh my goodness. I'm just like dumbfounded.
I know you're like,
I've never been, I don't think I'm generally never this dumbfounded, but like, I'm trying to process like, well, like I just did this and I decided to do gymnastics. And now that I do this, and
we're talking like years over years and years, all this happens, so it's like you make these decisions and, I went down the road of coaching gymnastics for a little while before I was a teacher. And I was like, I like this. I'm not going to do it as a career though. Like I could have decided to keep doing that. Um, you know, Indiana University Medical School denied me, and I was like, well, that's not happening. So I went to IU and got, my teaching master's, and that was like one of those things where it wasn't like I probably was devastated for like a week, and then I was like, I mean, I always thought if I wasn't a doctor, I'd be a teacher. So let's go see what that's like. Went and did that. So, and then I was on the gymnastics team at IU because all of these schools, like, there's a bunch of schools in the Midwest that like it's club sports. There's no coaches, and so you'd go to a meet at Purdue University, and everybody would do the skills they've been working on, and then there'd be a kegger at night. It's not
Yeah.
like serious gymnastics at all. It was just a kind of like my experience with high school marching. It was like a bunch of people super into getting better at something as a team. And, I think it was that competitive is what I missed in college marching band. And that scratched that itch for me. So it was kind of a natural thing.
Yeah. You've never been to a tuba euphonium conference. Let me tell you about not taking themselves seriously.
No, I don't think I would ever go to one of those.
What's going on? Oh, we got the beer garden at the top of the garage.
Did you see Sam Palafian over there? Yeah, my dad would love it though. I think he'd probably go to any trombone convention.
I love that. The man, I did the community band thing. That's actually how Alexa and I met.
Yeah.
We did the community band thing for a while, and then I was like, oh, okay, I got to take some time away from this because we live the band life, and it's always nice to see when people who are outside the profession still like find that joy, because that's something we can carry with ourselves like for the rest of our days.
Yeah.
Did you do director band at camp?
I did.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and I'm going to talk about the camp here in a little bit, but I've been ranting and raving about that whole entire experience, and I've told people left and right. I'm like, if you get an opportunity to go to that camp, go to that camp. So, Jeff, can you tell us why band, other than the fact that you got bit by the bug pretty early on? Why would you tell anyone else why band?
Oh, anyone else? I mean, my story was just seeing my dad playing and then having a great my great grandpa gave me an instrument and a great teacher. My story was like looking back on it was like, yeah, that just was a natural thing. For anybody, I think that there's all sorts of research, and I'm not a research nerd. I don't know all the data, but like, if you just dig a little bit, kids who are in performing arts perform better in school. They have better attendance records, they have better SAT scores, they have better GPAs. Like, it's just that being a part of an organization like that, and music changes your brain, and music is good for you in lots of ways, and but it's like a lot of it is beyond music too. It's like establishing friendships, learning hard work, discipline, working toward a goal simultaneously. I feel pretty passionate, in my gazillion years working at Carmel, we didn't ever do alternates. So at Carmel, every single student who wants to be in marching band has the ability to win a national championship every year. Not that they do every year, but like, where else can you go in the school where like I'm pretty bad at this and I'm not very coordinated, and they're just going to make me good enough to be a part of this group, and there's a distinct possibility I'm going to be in the top of at least the top 5 of all of the best in this activity every year. Come on. Right. So there's going to be a lot of schools out there that maybe they're not competing for a grand national championship, but it's like, would you ever play on the soccer team? No. Okay. Well, do you want to just ride the bench? Like, what? Maybe you'll learn something from that. You'll get some exercise, but like, you're not winning that championship. My son Tyler was on a cross country team that won a state championship, and he's like, I didn't win it. Like, I'm a good runner and I ran in all the meets, but like those 5 kids ran in state, not me. So, it's like, yeah, you're a part of a team that won state, but did you actually run the race? And you can say that about band kids, is the whole band is out there. The worst kid still gets the trophy. So yeah, I think that's a good reason to do band right there.
Yeah, and that's like a really special thing. Oh, man, where you're at is such a special hub for music education and inclusion in the musical arts and the performing arts. So, just spending some time up there this summer was very eye opening. Coming outside the Texas bubble, as we might say. I told somebody this because I was in that director's band, and we played a piece in there, and Richard Saucedo was all like, okay, what grade would you say this is? And he was like, a four, or as they say, a Texas two. Like,
Yeah, I heard him say that.
what are we doing? All the Texas people were like, excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
So were you the best musician in your class or in your band?
Well, remember I was playing up a grade for part of that time, and Jenny Mills had my number every time. She was always first chair. Jenny Mills is a band director in Kentucky now, and so when she graduated, then I was first chair.
You're like, oh, now it is. Yes, now we
But
have
I'm sure
arrived.
there were better, like there were, I'm sure, better musicians. I was in the all-state band one year, and I loved jazz. I wasn't a great improviser, but like I was a good first trumpet player. I could play just about anything you throw at me with some hard work. But there were definitely other kids in the band that were probably better musicians than I was.
Well, and I'm going to say this, it is this talking to you is proof that your love of something will trump almost anything else. Like your hard work, your grit, and your love and passion for something will trump so many other things. Um, so do you have a DCI journey then?
Yeah, so obviously the Star of Indiana thing, but then I think around 2000 when Saucedo was writing for the Cavaliers and they were just incredible. Um, I spent a week with the Cavaliers, just like not on staff, not in the core, just watching. And I just went up there. Saucedo and I just drove up there together when he was going to go spend a week with them, and I just hung out and I learned a lot. And then later that year, I told Richard that I was like, look, we've had a string of people coming in and teaching visual here, and lately we've been scoring really high musically in marching band, and visually it's kind of middle of the road. Like nothing's really sticking. I mean, I'm like, are you vibing with any of these people? And he's like, yeah, I mean, good people, but like it's definitely not a thing right now for us. Nobody talked about us and thought, oh, they move really well. Everybody just said they played well. So I said, I want to take that over, and all I need is a plane ticket to California. And he was like, what? I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna spend a week with the Blue Devils. I've already done it with the Cavaliers, and I want to see what the Blue Devils are all about. And I cold called Todd Ryan, got his number from somebody. He's the visual guy, and if you don't know the name Todd Ryan, essentially it's like this: there's a huge tree, and every branch that comes off of that tree, like great visual people, Todd Ryan is the tree. Okay. In some way or another, that this, even some of these younger folks, that they learned from somebody who learned from Todd Ryan. He's absolutely the number one mentor I've ever had in this space. He's incredible. And I just cold called him, and he was like, oh yeah, I've heard of Carmel. Yeah. And I think I even came out and did a clinic with you guys a couple of years ago. And we were talking, and he's like, yeah, you come on out for our February camp. And I was like, cool, thanks. I'll get a rental car and whatever and a hotel. And he's like, no, you'll stay with me. And so I was like, what? you know? And I went out there and stayed with him and his wife and their newborn. And their newborn is now a band director, by the way. Valley Christian out there, great band director. But yeah, I had a old camcorder and a notebook, and I have the notebook somewhere with all my notes, but I pretty much just took notes the whole time I was there. And I was like, this is the playbook. And I came home and I used it all word for word. Like I just took it, and he was like, just go do this. He goes, I wouldn't do that yet with them, or I wouldn't, they're not ready for this, but he just kind of talked me through it. And like immediately we got better. And being good is fun, as we talked about earlier. So like being good is fun, and then fun at being good makes you great. And it just snowballed into, I used the Todd Ryan system of teaching visual and made it into my own system of teaching visual. And then that's when I decided to start dynamic marching in the 2006 era. And that was, we did a 1 hour video on how to teach visual. And so that was the start of the company. Shot on a camcorder, handheld. I don't even think I used a tripod. It was like, 5 kids from Carmel, and I was just showing on video how to teach kids how to look good moving. That one, there are a bunch of people out there who have this original DVD, and I've since buried it digitally because it's like, we redid it. Chris Catholic and I redid it in 2017. But the idea behind it was great, though, because it was like, I can't just go out and do a clinic and write all this down for you, and you're not going to come spend a week with me to figure all this out. So Chris Mader and I, also a drum major at Carmel, we were like, let's make a video. That's the easiest way to do this. And then that morphed into, we did a video with Saucedo, and then a video with Mike McIntosh, and then another one with Todd Ryan, and then David Starnes. And then so we accumulated this kind of like, this is before YouTube was really big. So it's this like library of videos of good teachers teaching kids. And the videos were not geared toward, hey, put this in and show it to your students. This is from the beginning. Dynamic marching was all about, put this in with your staff, watch it and discuss it and make it your own. And so that's kind of where that was birthed. But yeah, so that we were talking about DCI journey, but I had to mention those two things, even though I wasn't on their staffs. That was critical for me. And then in 2015, George Hopkins called me and said, would you be interested in coming to cadets? And I said, no, I'm not interested in doing drum corps. I have a 15-year-old and a 13-year-old. I'm already really busy with band. I don't know where I would fit it in, because I was judging DCI from mostly drum corps Midwest and DCI from 2003 to 2009. And then I stopped even judging drum corps because it was just like, the summer's busy enough. But then, Jarrett Lippman called and he's like, hey, I heard you talked to George, but let me try to convince you. So over the course of the season, I did end up joining cadets visual team 2016. And I was there 16, 17, 18, and the first part of 19. Awesome experience. The cadets were going through all sorts of crazy upheaval during that time. George was there, and then Scott was there, and then, they're trying to stay afloat and reinvent themselves. And my son Connor ended up filling a hole in San Antonio in 2017, maybe, the zebra cake uniform year. So he was able to be a part of that. And then I was hired to do Santa Clara a year ago and did not end up doing it because I tore my rotator cuff. I had to have surgery. So the only time I had to have surgery, that like literally that week, because if not, I wasn't going to be healed enough to go to camp, and camp is my job. So it was like, immediately just made the decision, sorry, I can't do it. So I did not end up doing visual staff for Santa Clara last year. It was a bummer. Great staff that Conrad put together, but I just didn't get to be a part of it. So that's where we are here.
What year did Kendall do cadets?
Oh my gosh, you just asked me this and I'm not sure I know the answer. I think it might have been 2017. I think she did.
Yeah,
2
Kendall
seasons?
was drum major when I was there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
we just talked to her. So, and we're really, we're friends with her husband, and we're becoming better friends with Kendall. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Can I say that on here?
yeah, I know you're
I
talking.
don't know if this is a family show.
No, that great people. So let me ask you this: what was your event in gymnastics?
Floor exercise was really what I was learning the most. I mean, like, in order to do rings, you have to be shaped way differently than I am. It's like really broad shoulders and teeny tiny waist, like a triangle, And so pommel horse and rings, I would get up there and do something really simple and get off, just so that I could be in the all around, but I, high bar was fine. Parallel bars, vault, those were all okay. I mean, I was learning. It was club sports. You'd watch a video and go, "That guy's awful," but it wasn't
Everyone got
really
to start
about.
somewhere. Got to start
Yeah,
somewhere.
I'm the only one with a video camera at the time on the team, so I'm probably the only one who owns any of that video. But yeah, no, floor exercise. I took me took me like 18 months to learn a back handspring, and then 8 months to learn round off back handspring back tuck. So it's like it was really slow going at first, and then it was like, oh, okay, my body's starting to figure this out.
So you went and did biology. Then what? So what drew you to like the biology thing? Was it primarily because your dad was in the medical field?
Yeah, and I was just good at it and interested in it. Yeah.
So how has that stem of the sciences influenced the way you interact with body movement and choreography?
I mean, it's all just a big puzzle that came together. It's who I am, right? So like the gymnastics, the anatomy and physiology, the interest in the marching arts, it's like it, and I'm flexible and strong enough to do things, and I'm like, yeah, this all just fits together. So like take one of those away and maybe I'm not doing this right now. You never know.
So what would you recommend for the couch potato band director, aka Jose Sanchez, to do in order to be more active in that side of the marching arts?
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest reasons I stay in shape is so that I can demonstrate. I will be devastated the day that my body doesn't allow me to do, like, to show students. That I know it'll come, and I'll worry about that when it comes. But that will be really hard for me. Last year being in a sling for 8 weeks of the summer, even that was like, I'm trying to like hold a microphone and then show with one arm, and it's just like, oh, this is so frustrating. Um, I've done it in a boot when you're hurt my leg, but yeah, for somebody who wants to be better at that, you've got to move more, whether it's starting with walking and then going on to other things. But I like to have a coach, so things like F45 and CrossFit and Orange Theory, like for me, I'm at a place in my life where I can schedule class, I can go to classes. you know I can imagine as a band director that's not an easy thing to do unless it's 6:30 in the morning. But I definitely think just moving more, really taking a look at what you're putting in your body and how much you're moving is the main thing to start with. Yeah.
All right, coming to dynamic marching next fall, the band director's guide to fitness.
The band director boot camp.
Yeah, the band director boot camp. This is the meal plan.
I
That
feel like
need
you
to
were
be
like
on.
asking for a friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
First of all, stop going to the donut shop in town. Step one.
Or maybe start by walking
Yeah.
to the donut shop.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know those tacos you like so much? Stop.
Hey,
No, don't stop eating good tacos.
the taco shop from us is within walking distance.
It is within walking
Yeah.
distance.
You could walk there.
Hey, how's the Mexican food up there?
So Fernando's, I live in Broad Ripple, Indiana, which is a little village near Butler University, and it's a really cool area. Walkable restaurants, bars. There's a canal. There's live music sometimes. It's like very unique in Indianapolis. There's not a lot of places like this. It reminds me a lot of South Congress in Austin or East Nashville, a small version of that, right? And so Fernando's is wife is Mexican, husband is Brazilian, or the other way around. I'm not sure. And it's like lights out every time. We went there last night, 2 nights ago. Unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, so when was the last time you came down to Texas?
A couple months ago, I was in Austin.
Austin doing it. Okay. Now, what did you eat when you came down to Austin? That's the big
I
question.
was actually hanging out with the Ultimate Drill Book guys,
For
and
those guys, we are.
Josh and Luke took me to the taco place down the street from their studio. But honestly, like the meal of that trip though was, I don't know if it's La Barbecue or LA Barbecue, but
It's La
Raw
Barbecue.
barbecue.
you can see it from their offices.
Mm-hmm.
Hands down, best barbecue, best brisket I've ever had in my life. Unreal.
Oh,
But
okay.
the tacos were great too. I made the mistake though of getting the jalapenos on it, and I just wasn't ready for it that day. You know how some days like
Oh, yeah.
you're
I'm
ready
well
for it,
ready.
and then some days it's like your throat closes off and your body's like, no. That was I made that mistake.
Yeah.
Jose's never ready for the jalapenos.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm not a spicy food kind of guy. Yeah, I don't, which is hard inside my culture,
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
which is really difficult. Yeah, La Barbecue is good. I think the best all
Did you
around
say it's
barbecue.
good? Like
Yes,
you're gonna
I
say
should.
something's better?
Yes,
Yes, he
yes,
was gonna say
yes.
All right.
that. We talk
Okay.
about barbecue a lot.
Yeah,
All right,
there's.
bring it on.
I don't think there's a podcast where we haven't talked about barbecue.
very
quite,
few.
quite honestly.
Very few.
If you're ever in Texas again, which I anticipate you will be, Interstellar Barbecue is really good. I think it's a good overall like sequence. The best brisket for me, hands down, is Franklin's. If you are willing to arrange somebody to pick it up, because there are people in line starting at 7 a.m. and
Well,
they open
they're there
at,
before that a lot of
yes,
the time.
and they open at 11.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
That reminds me. Sorry, I don't mean to pivot off food because it is one of my favorite topics, but you asked me pre podcast a few questions to think about, and one of them was most memorable musical performance or something I attended of all time. My answer to that involves really long lines, but I got to see the original cast of Hamilton on Broadway, and the whole sequence of events around it was pretty amazing, but it involved a line sitter and paying that person to stand in line for me for 6 hours. And
I
then I
mean,
ended up getting 8th row tickets center for cost.
That's awesome.
$100 tickets. Most
Wow.
amazing musical experience I've ever been to. Alexander Hamilton is the first thing that Lin-Manuel Miranda says in the musical, right? He says Alexander Hamilton, and then 8 minutes of standing ovation. This musical hasn't even started yet. And the whole thing was like that. It was, but the line sitter thing was, I just happened on it and it was the best because I got to go explore New York City and not stand in that line. Maybe Franklin's has one of those.
I think that there was this
a
was
whole
a
entire
long
thing
time ago.
about it.
I think there was like a UT student that was offering to line sit for people, and it was like a thing for a little while, and then I think they like shut that down and like permanently banned him. And yeah. But
because part of the charm is the experience that you have with your friends while you're
it's
sitting
fun. It's a good time. Like if you plan it correctly, it's a good time. If you do not put a lot of forethought into it, it could probably be a terrible time.
Yeah.
But when we do it, it's fun.
Yeah. What a segue. Oh, line sitter. Oh, this one time I got, tickets to Hamilton.
Yeah.
So we've talked about this a little bit already. Can you tell us more about the inspiration and the role that dynamic marching has had in the marching arts?
All I know is wherever I go and it's a band related thing, someone comes up to me and is like, I have your DVDs or I subscribe to dynamic. Like it's very common. Midwest, it happens a lot. And now it happens a lot with that Band Life podcast as well. Bobby and I both get stopped by band people a lot, and they just like, "Hey, I love your podcast." But with Hal Leonard distributed our DVDs, so when it was a physical DVD, it was in the hands of the world, right? Because Hal Leonard being the biggest print music publisher at the time, it really allowed us to get it out there, and it was never about making money. So that was like the fact that you're sharing a cut with how Leonard didn't matter, because it's like, no, we want everybody to see this. And so I'm the thing I'm really, really proud of. I mean, I'm proud of my kids, but I'm really proud that I birthed that. It's like I brought that into the world with the help of Chris Mader, my business partner at the time, who's now moved on to biotech stuff. But um, it's my greatest accomplishment. Period. The system video that I put out in 2017. If any band program, small or big, anywhere, just watched, if the directors and staff watched that, maybe watched it with their leadership team, you will move better, and you will see the difference, because it's just, like I said, it's designed for the directors. It's not a YouTube video for kids to learn choreography. It's like, no, here's how you teach a plie. Here's how you teach leg shape. Here's how you reinforce timing and upper bodies. Here's how you do simple, physical fitness for your marching band. So it really is just a playbook that anybody can use and it's the same stuff we used at cadets. It's the same stuff, Conrad is using at SCV, and Todd is still using at the Blue Devils. It doesn't change that much, right? It's just all about understanding what the style is and giving the students enough information to execute it properly. It's not a secret. There's no secret that blue coats have, right? Those are cadets, marchers, and Blue Devils kids and Crown kids who are now teaching the same stuff they learned, and they're putting their own spin on it. And yeah, there's good teachers and there's average teachers and there's bad teachers, but in terms of like, it's not rocket science. And Saucedo is always preaching about this. Every time he's anywhere and I hear him speak, he's just like, you have to play better. Stop worrying about all this other stuff until you play better. And I feel the same way with visual. It's like, who cares what your show concept is or your uniform or your props? You don't march well. This is what I would say to some people, is like, you need to focus on, like, take that 10 grand you were going to pay this big name program coordinator and hire somebody who's there with you all the time, reinforcing visual or music or a combination of staff members to get you that. If you invest the time and energy and money in the fundamentals, in the training, you can do all that other stuff later, but you got to play well and march well first.
Yeah. Well, and that's like the whole entire conversation. We're planning to start up for our marching season, and we've had conversations with like Evan Van Doren. I had a meeting with him where I felt very small, because I was like, why didn't I think about that? He just puts things out very plainly. I'm like, well, and I ran him through some of our stuff. He goes, oh, I know what's wrong. I'm like, okay. He goes, you're doing too much.
Yeah.
Like, you're doing so much that you're not great at any one thing.
Mhm.
You're kind of media. And he said it in much nicer way, like a much nicer way.
But like,
you
do you
know,
think Matt Harloff wants you to go buy the Inside the Circle book and do every exercise in it all the time? No, that's not the point, right? It's like, go get good at this thing, and then let's add this on, and then it's. I see what he's saying, and it's, you're not the only person who's doing that, or who's been, had to wake up and go, yeah, you're right. I got to play F concert better,
mhm.
Mhm.
Well, and that's like, those are things that I've said, and sometimes it's just, you have to hold the mirror up, and you go like, oh, why isn't, maybe you should play concert F. Just play concert F in tune, and then I go, oh, maybe I should start with my points of alignment and like my visual block first.
Yeah.
And
I promise you, at Carmel High School, I think it's the Essential Elements book, but it's like, there's exercise 1-1, and there's exercise 4-3, and there's F concert. Like Mike Pote and Kyle Young and Andy and Richard, like, they spend all their time on 3 exercises, and then when those are really good, they start adding things in. But like, it's honestly fairly simple. Plus, really good ears and really good teaching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the saying, your eyes were bigger than your stomach that day.
Yeah.
I think we get that same way when it comes to, like, I mean, seriously, our warm ups, so our daily routines, our daily drills. Sorry, they got onto us about saying warm ups over at the camp. Actually,
Yeah.
they're like,
Doc
dude,
Stratton, probably.
yeah, well, no, yeah, yeah, He was all like, don't call them warm ups. They're not warm ups. It takes 2 minutes to warm up the instrument. You're working daily drills,
That makes sense.
and so I was like, yes, sir, yes, yes.
Yeah.
It's funny when you came back and said that because I've been working on that like compilation of material for junior high kids, and I had put on the cover daily drills, and I kind of forgot about it. And then when you came back and I opened the document and it pulled up, I was like, oh well, I'm already on the right track.
I already know what I'm doing.
Yeah, look at me.
Changing the world one
I
page
know.
at a time.
You like subconsciously did that already.
Yeah.
So, and a big part of what you've done is kind of opened up the marching arts to this understanding of what physical health is supposed to be and what that actually looks like inside the marching arts. Because we always say, like, to our kids, like, our best marchers are generally who? Our athletes.
Yeah.
Those are the kids you don't have to worry about. So, like, I think it has allowed that conversation for, like, band directors who are worried about losing kids to the athletic programs to go, no, this is an athletic event.
Yeah. I mean, depending on what program you're in, like some of them are really hard. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there are still marching bands out there that aren't very athletic, but yeah, I know the ones that I teach are incredibly athletic and well trained and and they spend a lot of time talking about getting in shape before the season starts, and they even give some ideas to the students on how to do that. And there's companies out there. There's a couple major ones on the internet that you can find that are Marching Health and Forte are a couple that come to mind, where they're basically bringing entire programs to schools. And I know Marching Health has a band director workout program too, but I think those are, if you really need to start from ground zero and get somewhere, I think those are great places to start. I think most of us already know what we should be talking. Like, if you just search YouTube for 10 minutes, you're going to find some body weight exercises. Like the Body Coach is a good example if you've ever seen that, but just type in the Body Coach on YouTube. He's got 100 10-minute workouts with no weights and no equipment. It's just, he's from Great Britain, and he just shows you how to do, lunges and air squats and all these things that any of us can teach our students to do. So, like, I'm not necessarily convinced you need to install an entire program and pay a lot of money for that. I think with a little bit of homework, if you're a band director and you're like, I want my students to be in better shape, you probably can figure out how to get them better in shape. Because we're not going to spend this, it's not an aerobics class. We're not going to spend an hour doing CrossFit with our band kids. We're going to spend 10 minutes a day during band camp doing something. And then we're going to equip them with skills in the off season or the off weeks in the summer, where we're like, hey, can all of you log a workout 3 times a week for the next 3 weeks when I'm not seeing you? Half of them aren't going to do it, but some of them are. But it really doesn't take rocket science to figure out what exercises you can do in place with just your body weight. And, there's all sorts of running routines that are out there. I don't use running with my students at all. I don't see the benefit in it. I think if you're running as a group, it immediately separates you into the haves and have nots. And you have one kid finishing in record time their lap around the band field, and then you've got a bunch of kids who cut all the corners because they know they're not going to make it fast enough to not be embarrassed. And you don't want to come down on them because you're like, I see what you're doing. Like, you've never run before, and I'm asking you to run all the way around the football. Like, I just don't do it. That's not my vibe. I think it's embarrassing. I think it's counterproductive. But in the in the 3 weeks you don't see them, like, hey, here's a 3 week get better at running program. It has you run for a minute, walk for a minute, run for a minute, walk for a minute, jog for a minute. And there's plenty out there. Like, just, do something. Something's better than nothing is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah. Well, you're also giving them, and like some people just need that help. And I'll be honest, like my weight fluctuates so much
Yeah.
depending on the year. I think before we had the twins, I had dropped probably about 50 or 60 pounds. And then COVID happened, and then my gym closed,
Yeah.
for all that time. And then we had twins. And then it looks like I had twins.
Well, I mean, kids is like, young babies, like that'll do in anybody's exercise program,
Yeah.
whether you're the mom or the dad. It's just chaos. So
Yeah.
Yeah. How many kids do you have?
I have two.
You have two?
My oldest is he's in the Army. He's a second lieutenant with 10th Mountain Division, operational security, but super proud of him. He was, this kid is awesome. He was a trumpet player in the Carmel band. He was part of the Carmel band that won 3 Grand Nats in a row. The concert bands that he was a part of were phenomenal. So anyway, he's doing great things. He's an incredible leader, incredibly physically fit, and just a great kid. And then my second son, super proud of him. He just graduated from college. He's a business major, and he was an incredible sax player in high school, and didn't carry on in college at all. But he's gonna do something in e-commerce, probably. We'll see.
Nice.
He's doing great things.
So what was it like seeing like your own kids go through that program that you went through and like the success that like came with it?
It was awesome. I mean, Tyler didn't do marching band, so I didn't get quite the same experience with him. And then he was also part of the COVID high school plan, where like a year and a half of his high school experience was virtual. So I really, that stinks for him. But with Connor, it's kind of hard for me to talk about because for me, top mountaintop experience every year, hands down, is visual warm up at Grand Nats. Like that, I almost don't even care what happens after that. Like, I hope we have a good performance, but like for me, that's the most switched on you're ever going to see high school students in band. It's, they are in the zone. And so we set up for movement fundamentals for Grand Nats, and like Connor's always the first person. He's in the front row every time, great marcher, and he's trumpets are in front over here. And I just remember, that last warm up, I was like, dang, it's never going to be the same anymore. And it hasn't been. Like, it's not that it's been bad, but like that was really special to have him, front row, in marching fundamentals for 4 years in a row. That was pretty awesome. And it's great seeing Tyler as a musician. I mean, he was probably the best sax player at Carmel High School, and that's saying a lot. He really geeked out on solo and ensemble, and like wouldn't ever admit that it was important to him. But man, I don't think he practiced harder for anything else. He had to do his solo perfect. And that was cool to see.
Yeah. Well, and like we get one of those really rare experiences in our profession, and like what you do, just to be involved in our kids' lives in that way, our personal children, and like to see them grow up. Like right now, we're doing all this stuff, and our kids are in the band hall. They're running around. Actually, I was doing some teaching fundamentals. Telling like having our leadership like figure out how to teach. And I, and Alexa forced the kids back into the office, and I went to I go, hey, you two go play out there. And she was like, why are you doing that? I go, because these kids have to know how to overcome distraction and other things being in the way of of your teaching. Yeah. And what's better than putting 2 4-year-olds and a beach volleyball in the middle of that process?
I remember Connor and Tyler stringing this rope from the tower at Carmel to the ground, and like I think they were sliding like a G.I. Joe character or somebody like down the zip line or whatever, while rehearsal is happening, and they were on their scooters, their Razor scooters, just zipping around during marching fundamentals. It's like, And then a couple of years later, like it was Crakey's kids and Joey Weaver's kids, and like it's happened the whole time I was at Carmel, is that all those kids grew up at the field, and some of them chose to do it, and some of them like did it for a year and were like, nah, that's dad's thing, and some of them did it all 4 years.
Yeah, and that's just like such a great experience. And I mean, and you're right. There's certain experiences that you're never going to be able to really have again, unless you're a grandfather and still doing the body movement, and you have a grandkid going through the process.
I plan to keep doing it till I'm, like I said, my body gives out.
Well, you've already talked about this a little bit. Can you tell us about the Band Life podcast?
Yeah, I mean, Bobby and I both, I don't know if it was my idea. I think it was my idea, but he was like, I'm absolutely in. And Bobby and I have such different skill sets and personalities that it's been amazing, because like if you watch a football game, there's always a play-by-play and a color commentary person. And some days I'm the play-by-play and I'm nuts and bolts, and he's the color commentary. And some days he's, one of us is more passionate than the other about it, and we're super, lively about it, and the other person's like driving the conversation. So we've kind of gotten into this rhythm of like, we literally come to the podcast with a topic or a person and no notes. Because if you listen to our first couple of podcasts, they were very scripted, to the point where it feels very uncomfortable. And then as we went along, we were just like, screw it, that's not working. What we really want to do is have conversations with each other. And when I say we don't have any notes, Bobby always has notes, because he loves acronyms, and like he'll have AIM, audience intent message, like that's his thing. Is that an act? And it's brilliant. Like and that stuff just comes to him, but he'll usually write a few of those down before he starts. I typically come with no notes, except for I'm reading our podcast intro, and that's about it. We've had some incredible interviews. We did one with my wife a few times ago on judging. The three of us just talked about judging. If you ever want to learn how to judge, start with that podcast. Danny's an incredible judge. She and I judge together a lot, and she has a color guard background. She was color guard caption head at Troopers, and she marched Zydeco and Crown, and she's taught high school, and she has a totally different job, not in the marching arts, but still we judge some color guard together, and she's a BOA judge in the fall. I think she's judging a couple times this fall for BOA, but that's a great episode. I mean, we interviewed Richard Crane is a great interview. Jarrell Horton. I mean, one of our most popular ones of all time was this one called Teach from the Light. It was a lot about the book Practice Perfect by Doug Lemov, but that's Mike Pote just riffing on his philosophy of teaching. And that's a great one to listen to. We haven't gone the video podcast route much at all, because Bobby's almost never in the same place twice when we do our podcast. I mean, during the school years, he's mostly in his office, but it's not well lit. It doesn't have like all the fancy microphones every time when he's there. So like mostly he's on his AirPods somewhere, right? So we haven't really dived into that. I don't personally watch video podcasts. I listen to them in my car and when I'm, in my headphones when I'm doing other things, but who knows? Maybe that'll be next year.
Yeah, I feel that too. I don't watch video podcasts at all. And people ask sometimes about the video thing, and I forget sometimes that that's the way that people like to consume content. I'm like, oh, because I do like what you said. I listen to it in the car, or like in my headphones when I'm doing something else. But yeah, I totally feel that.
We decided early on we were going to try to stick to 35 minutes, commute and lunch, because we're talking to teachers. So
Yeah.
that's just what we decided. Sometimes we go longer than that, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here we are sitting at like 3 hours for ours. Well,
Sometimes, yeah.
and like we like to just chit and chat and, do that kind of thing. And, you know, what's nice and, talking to you is that our podcast is in service to a lot of Texas band directors.
Mhm.
And so, you know, it's very eye opening because we actually interviewed a choral person for the podcast who found their pathway through band first.
Mhm.
And like understanding their journey and their process and their love of music and band just happened to be the first thing that they fell in love with, and that's what opened their eyes to the next their next path and in their journey.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I mean, that's a great podcast. I'm adding that to the list.
Mhm.
If I'm surprised I didn't have it, I have several that are on
We
there.
had a kind of a contest with our podcast listeners before Midwest, and we randomly chose out of those and the people who entered the contest, and so we took them out about, I think it was 6 or 7 of our podcast listeners out to a really nice meal at Midwest.
Nice.
And of those people, one of them also had a podcast. So like there's a whole network that's starting to happen. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I know I sent you these questions beforehand, and like I've always had to like navigate somebody into the next question, and you just do it for me, and I don't know how to operate now. Well, then, that's one of those kind of things when you interview somebody who knows what they're doing when it comes to. Oh, sorry, everyone knows what they're doing, but navigating in and out of the conversation point. So that's been kind of like interesting for me. So you also have a pretty important role inside Music for All. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so I'm director of camps for Music for All, and it says camps plural because we do often do we did the 1-day camp at University of North Texas 2 years ago. We're doing the Texas Bandmasters Association Student Day in next week. So, or I guess I am. But so director of camps for Music for All, I spend all year thinking about camp. We have close to 900 students at camp and 200 band directors ish. So they're kind of in separate tracks that everything comes together in the evenings, and in all of the concert acts that we have, everyone goes to. But there's also, we have 30 to 40 staff members at Music for All, but there's 150 different faculty members from all over the country that come in. And so, I'm basically the thing I'm doing this time of year is like, okay, how did that one go? What are things that we want to make better for next year? Making lists, having meetings, and then little by little over the year, it just comes together, and the division coordinators will choose their faculty, and budgeting will happen. All the stuff that like you don't have to worry about. You just show up and go to the Sweetwater Director Academy. So I'm fortunate to get to meet with lots of incredible teachers across the country that are planning to come in to camp. And, we have amazing staff at Music for All. Our events team does such a good job planning the rooms and the schedules and the times and the rain sites. And then, the travel aspect of it, like flights coming in and shuttles from the airport to campus. And then, our participant relations departments answering all the questions. And then Bailey's camp coordinator that I work with closely, and she's constantly in the email and voicemails that we get about camp. And then our finance team and our our fundraising people and our marketing and communications team. It's my job is just to kind of filter all of the things coming and going between all those teams, and just trying to make camp great next year. Yeah, that's my job. Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, seeing everything operate the way it did at that camp, it was very seamless.
Mm-hmm.
And like you guys were on top of everything. If the weather was about to turn sideways, like Matt would, like he got all the information out, but like all the stuff that happens behind the scenes, I can't even imagine, like the communication with Ball State, the communication with like the staff members and the faculty. And what is a swag?
I don't even know what it stands for, but our swag team is our basically our camp counselors, but a lot of them are band directors. You have your college students and young band directors, and some band directors who've been doing this a long time. But if you have a passion for volunteering, this is an amazing way to give back to the music education. And Cecily, who's a band director in Frisco, Texas, she's the head of our swag team with the help of Jess. And there's about 40 volunteers who come in, and they are assigned to each of the divisions. They do check-ins at night with the students, and make sure that the kid gets to the nurse if they need it, or sometimes they'll run off music or drill, and like they're just like an amazing resource for our students, and just a safe place for our students. And that's another thing, we spend 3 days just training them. When they're there 3 days before the camp happens, they go through extensive training on ethics, professionalism, small group leading, and just how to survive the week and be at your best when you're tired. So they spend a lot of time working on all that. And you know Cecily has been a swag for a long time, and just recently took over last year as our head swag, and she's doing a great job.
Yeah, I kept on hearing like swag, and I was like, "What is a
Yeah.
swag?"
Well, in the Director Academy, you have the DAAs, the Director Academy Assistants. So they're kind of like the swags for the adults. They're they're there to kind of babysit the faculty and make sure their PowerPoints get attached to HDMI, and make sure that you guys have water and music, and passing out those brand new iPads. That was awesome.
Yeah, and
The Chromebook
instruments.
and Beam sent us 50 brand new iPads to put the music on Beam for Director Band. I thought that was really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I was just like, and when then I kept on hearing like, "Oh yeah, I've been a swag for such and such years." I'm like, are we talking about the same thing? Because swag in the relation to the students is completely different.
It's like clothing or
Yeah.
free items. Some people call swag, like free stuff that you get.
Yeah. So I was a little confused. So I thought that was pretty interesting to hear like the swag thing in relation to not clothing. So what is the importance to like of music for all and like the bands of America to like our profession and the music education process?
That's a great question. I think, 50 years is what we're celebrating this year. And if you think about what are the main things that Music for All does? So we have the Bands of America Summer Camp, formerly known as the Summer Symposium, which is, my purview. We have 20 some fall championships for marching band, many of which are in Texas. I think you have one in Waco, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so that, leading up to the Grand National Championships. So if you think about the Disney experience of camp, where like you just got to enjoy yourself all week and learn all week, and you didn't have to worry about all the nuts and bolts behind the scenes. You didn't get to see any of the characters with their, heads off. We we have people at every one of those Bands of America events in the fall that does the same thing for that show. Like, how did all those banners get hung? How did all that parking signage get put out? Like the teams that go out and do that and run those shows, the goal is we want you to come and perform, and your parents and grandparents and friends and supporters to watch your show. We don't want you to worry about other things. So I think that's an important thing that we do as an organization, is just provide that seamless experience for a band show. If you run your own invitational, that's a stressful thing for a band director, and we're coming into your area and we're doing all that for you. That's the idea. And then the national concert, the national festival, which is concert bands, and there's a national jazz band and national honor band. Same thing. here in downtown Indianapolis every March. It's a great place for you to choose to travel with your ensemble and show them off. There's, you know, an experience that you can give to your students that has a full audience of musicians. And so I think that's awesome because, you know, you go to your average concert band performance at your high school and it's all parents, right? You go to a performance at the National Festival and there's 3 other ensembles that performed that weekend who are your audience. They're all musicians, right? They're all band kids and band directors. And so you get this really rich performance opportunity. You know, everyone wants to play at Midwest, but then there's some other things that you can do with your concert band that are also prestigious and worthwhile. And I think this is one of them. All of that aside, event planning is one thing that we do, you know, but the other thing we do is advocacy. The Advocacy in Action Awards program, where you submit things that you've done in your band program and show it off to other people. And this isn't about what piece of music you perform. This is what helped my booster program to run better. This is a fundraiser that worked for us. This is, you know, the advocacy and action awards are really important. And it's a place you can go and just read through other people's winning proposals and go, I'm stealing that and I'm taking that. So I'm really proud of our education advocacy team. They do that. There's a host of things we do for free to help band directors be better band directors and music education in general. And, you know, James Stevens is in charge of our education advocacy, and like the amount of things they're doing to help music education, like you never hear about, but it's happening and it's very impactful. A good example is Indianapolis Public Schools. You know, there are a number of us who've made a commitment to, you know, I teach marching and movement for the Indianapolis Public Schools All City Band. And, you know, this is a program that didn't have a marching band 4 years ago, you know, and so, you know, you're taking underprivileged, in some cases, students, socioeconomically challenged students, racially diverse students, and giving them the same opportunity of being in a good marching band and learning how to play and march well. So there are a number of us who've really committed to IPS and San Antonio Public Schools, St. Louis Public Schools. Our advocacy is not something we brag about, but when you've been affected by it, you know, because it's really impactful. You know, Sweetwater came in and we talked about a relationship with Music for All in a sponsorship way in some kind. And what we came up with in talking with their people and our people is they were like, we don't want to just give you money and have a banner go up. Like, what can we really do to affect music education? And that's how the Sweetwater Director Academy, that's why we named it that, because, you know, normally it's $900 for a band director to go to camp for a week. And now it's $450, you know, because of Sweetwater making that commitment to us. So we're always trying to look at, you know, these corporate entities and going, yeah, how can we leverage their success and their deep pockets in some cases to help them to help band directors. And then, you know, if you have a great experience with that, you're going to think, okay, maybe I'll do my school rental program through Sweetwater and give them a chance to, you know. So that's kind of how, you know, all the facets of what we do. Our education advocacy team is working all year round on those programs.
Well, and I can tell you, there's so much outreach for Music for All that, like, I was a little dumbfounded when I like went a little bit into the void of the internet, and you see how many different things they're like touching in the extent of like, hey, you know, we need to get this involved, we need to get this. I I participated in that United Sound thing with the
Yeah.
director band, and that was just like absolutely so cool because if you are a listener and you're interested in giving back to like special needs kids and giving kids and students or just people that an avenue to express yourself musically, the United Sound is a fantastic avenue to go do that. But like Richard Salcedo, like was a huge component to that. And when he talked about it and he had people, you could see that his passion for that was very, very, very evident and like there. It wasn't like
Yeah.
for show. It was definitely something that he felt deep inside of him, and that's something that was very, very that I appreciated. And I can tell you, like going through this camp experience, and that's another big reason why I asked you to be on the podcast, was because everyone I interacted with was very genuine and true, and nothing seemed like it was part of a show. So I did the judging intensive, and in a lot of ways, that experience for me was I'm walking amongst giants.
Yeah.
We're there up in that booth area, and there is like the whole entire creative team for Carolina Crown, and then John Phillips,
Yeah.
and then Nola Jones, and like
Lee
you know,
Carlson,
yeah,
Brian Crisp. Yeah.
yeah. It's just like, oh my goodness, and we're having discussions about like, what did you say? What kind of tape would you have given that? What would you have said to this? And all this guidance. And I turned around and you happened to just to be sitting there. And I turned around and you were like, so what'd you hear? And like I was like, but at that point in time, you made me feel valued in what I said. And I could have been completely wrong, but you took value, or I felt like you made me feel valued in my opinion, and you made me feel value in my delivery, which in turn made me want to send an email. And that's what this all
Yeah.
started with, like a
I
simple
appreciate
email.
that. And I really am interested. Like I sat down behind you because it was an open seat. And then, I was like, I wonder what he thought about that. And we hadn't met yet during the week, but I'm I'm so proud of that program. And like the judging intensive is a way you could in 1 week set yourself up not only to, you know, learn how to judge, but it's a future income stream. It's a future way of getting your name out there and being more active in the activity. And I just I was so overwhelmed by like I could see on all of your faces like you were all a little nervous, but also a little giddy, and also just like the way that Nola and John were kind of checking in on everybody, and it was like you don't get those opportunities as an adult a lot to do something scary but also fun and exciting, and I just had to say something to you. So
I appreciate it. Oh, it's just like your first marching show, the first time you get out there, you're excited, you're giddy, you're all those feelings. And then it's like, I did the thing. And
well,
it's
do you
just like,
remember Dan who played the trumpet solo during that um, what was the song we played with the big trumpet solo? It was like was it a Spanish piece? I forget what piece.
oh yeah, so it was a Dan Mangold.
Yeah, but anyway, Dan was in the Director Academy, and last year we were out watching a Carolina Crown rehearsal, and there were a bunch of Director Academy people, and I was like, anybody who wants to know how to judge, just come sit next to me one at a time. And like I was like, okay, talk while they do this next chunk, just talk. And like to a person, they were completely silent. And I'm like, okay, let's try on this next chunk. Whatever comes to mind, say it out loud. And it is the hardest thing to do. It's like, because your mind is processing and you're like, oh, I liked that, or that was pretty, or that was beautiful, or that was hard, or that was wow. But saying it out loud on permanently on a recording, for maybe that group to listen to is very intimidating when you first start doing it. When I first started judging, I had like a stack of note cards. Like I know how to teach marching and movement, but like at the time I hadn't written nearly the number of drills that I've written now. And so like from a design standpoint and a general effects standpoint, there were a lot of terms that I like kind of knew, but I didn't know how to talk about them. And so I think people think that, you judge because you're a great band director, and then you just go in, and then eventually people keeps hiring you for more judging things. But it's not the case. Like there's a whole language to it where you have to understand the sheets. You have to understand the value of a tenth. You have to understand ranking and rating. You have to understand, um, all these different aspects about how to put down a score, and you have to talk out loud, and you have to reference the sheet, and you have to reference the what and the how simultaneously. So it is a skill that takes lots of practice, and there's nowhere to practice it. And so I think this is the first time we'd ever done that live judging simulation at the show. And I think it should happen more places, because it's really the only way to learn.
Yeah. I would do that in a heartbeat if like there was no true quote unquote you can do that, but it's hard to replicate that same experience and that same vibe.
Like if you went to a DCI show and like pretended to judge. Is
Yeah.
that what you're saying?
Yeah. I mean, maybe I can do
Like
that.
shadowed,
We're
yeah.
doing DCI Waco on Thursday. Maybe
Mhm.
that's what I'll do. I'll make some tapes
Yeah,
for
sit in
my
the upper corner where you
Yeah.
won't make
Yeah.
anybody angry.
Yeah, there you go.
Shut up.
Sit directly behind somebody that's actually judging.
Yeah. My goodness.
Well, now imagine, I think, okay, the late 90s, early 2000s critique for drum corps. I don't know if it's better, because I haven't judged drum corps since 2009. I've heard it's better, but like you would get yelled at in critique, like not professionally. Like there were a number of times where I was just like, um, Michael Gray and I were joking. I forget what the story he told me. It was something to the effect of like, he would just be like, so what's your favorite thing to cook in the kitchen? Like, what are you good at cooking? And they'd be like, what? Like, well, I know you're just going to yell at me. And I'm not okay with that. So like, let's talk about something else, and then we'll just rotate and you can go to the next person. It was like, sometimes it gets that ugly. And so the whole time you're doing your tapes and you're putting down your numbers, you also have that in the back of your head. You're like, I mean, I'm human. I make mistakes, but like, if I miss something big, or if I say some big guffaw here, I'm going to get screamed at. And I'm glad it's not like that anymore. I hope it's not like that anymore.
As the kids would say, get cooked.
Yeah. I got cooked a couple times.
I mean, how did you get into the adjudication side of things?
So Andy Cook, who I taught with for a number of years at Carmel, he and I trial judged for DCI in 2000. I honestly don't remember, 2002 ish, 3 maybe. I don't know. We had a couple of friends who, I think Dave Cooksey was judging at the time. Saucedo had done some judging before he started writing for Cavaliers. So just had a couple acquaintances that had judged, and they're like, the process is basically you're going to go drive to as many shows as you can get to, and we're going to give you a green shirt, and you're going to bring your own, literally a tape recorder at the time, and you're going to run tapes, and you're going to write down scores in a caption, and you're going to send them to, the judge caption head for DCI. And so I did this, and, drum corps is a lot different now. You could go up the coast of Lake Michigan and hit a show, and the next night hit the next show, and the next night hit the next. Like a lot of the drum corps just kind of travel around the Midwest for a while, right? So it was at the time, it was a little bit easier to get to a bunch of shows, but it was always like, I'd see Cavaliers and Phantom and Colts and Kilties and Bandettes every night for 5 nights in a row. Like, and maybe one corps would drop out to have a rehearsal day, and another Midwest corps would pop in. And so we recorded all these tapes, and then obviously had to mail them. There was no comp suite at the time. So we would mail these to the judge coordinator. And basically they were like, if you don't hear from us, you're doing fine. That was my education in judging. And it was just literally just trial by fire. And And then like the next year they're like, you got 3 shows, and the next year you're like, you got 6 shows. And you know, it's just like completely random too. Like at least high school shows are on Saturdays. You know, I remember when I got one of my judging assignments, it was maybe I had 8 over the course of the summer, but it was like, you know, Racine, Wisconsin on Tuesday, and then on Friday you're in, you know, Tennessee, and on Saturday you're in California, and all of them are 6 a.m. flights. You know? So like it was a little bit hard to fit it all in my summer with also teaching Carmel band and having some time off, vacation and stuff like that. But I did a lot of judging for DCI and Drum Corps Midwest. I never did get to judge finals, which I'm a little, maybe like I have a little bit of an itch to someday go back to it for DCI, because I did judge finals for Division 2. Is that what they call it? Like Blue Devils B and Santa Clara Vanguard Cadets.
Open class.
Open class.
Yeah.
Now, I think they called it Division 2 at the time, but I
Yeah.
could be wrong. But I got to judge finals twice for open class. Awesome experience. One was at the Rose Bowl and one was at Indiana University Stadium, believe it or not. They thought that Lucas Oil was going to be built by then in 2000, I want to say 9-ish, 2010 maybe, and it wasn't ready yet. So they had it at Indiana University outside. And that was the Spartacus year.
Oh, such a good
And
year.
my best friend Chris was in Blue Devils that year. They got beat by 0.05, I think. And then Koji, who was actually the drum major who stabbed the other drum major and then took over. He teaches at camp. I don't know if you met him last week, but Koji is a legend in drum majoring because of that moment.
I think I know who exactly. There were so many names to digest
Yeah.
during that week. It was like, oh,
Yeah.
but it was like, it was a great experience. I've been praising that camp to anyone and everyone
Spread
that,
the word. Yeah.
that's willing to listen to me.
He keeps yapping about it.
I sure do. I sure do. And like, I've actually gotten a lot of text messages about like how that trip differs from the experience that we have here for Team EA and TBA. And I told them,
Those are also valid places and easy in and out. You know, you don't have to fly anywhere. And, you know, definitely think there's a place for Midwest and MEAs and all that. It's just, I do think that our camp week is special for a number of reasons. The quality of the concerts at night, the director band, the one-on-one sessions were you able to do one of those?
oh, I did. I maxed them out.
Okay. They're like,
Like-
you again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I talked to Richard Saucedo, Michael Pote, Jarrell. I talked to him, and I tell you what,
Horton from
Jer-
Alabama.
yeah, Jarrell and I, we hit it off. We like,
Everyone hits it off with
Oh,
Jarrell.
man,
He's
he is-
literally the best.
yeah, he is such a fun person.
Yeah.
Jarrell and then Greg Bim.
Yeah, you got a lot of those. You got
Oh,
your
yeah,
money's
what-
worth.
Well, and that was like one of the kind of the other things that I've told people. I go like, yes, Team EA and TBA are fantastic resources for what we do, and it's local and things like that. But unfortunately, what ends up happening, and this is, I felt myself, and that's another reason why I applied for the camp and I did the scholarship and all that kind of other stuff, is because I felt myself in a vicious cycle when it came to like my development as a professional. And I could feel it because I found myself hanging out more in the exhibit halls and finding a reason to get onto the Riverwalk than what I was getting into the actual clinics. And I told myself, I'm like, I need to take myself out of an element and to get myself out of this mundane sequence. And I got that
there's a
email.
place for that.
Yeah.
Even at camp, like there are late nights. Like after the concert, there's the director socials, and then a lot of the directors and faculty go out to Brothers afterwards. You know, the local watering hole. And there are some really important conversations that happen at those, you know, like Kitty O'Shea's at Midwest and the Hilton Bar and all that. But, Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Like nobody's sitting in their dorm room at camp. That's for like you max out your day and then you have fun later. But there were years, not in my current role, but like there were definitely years I went up to Midwest and didn't see a concert or a session. It's like I'm just here to hobnob with all my friends from all over the country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I can tell you that was something that was good for me to get out of my sequence. And
Yeah.
so, I mean, what do they say? Growth happens the most often where you're outside your comfort zone. And for me, I mean, and I don't know if you know about this, but the Texas pride and runs deep.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
And so
the Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center is like a second home,
yes.
So it's nice to get out of there.
So it was very good, and so I've been telling everybody, and lots of people have been like, "Well, I'm going to look into that." I'm like, "Please do!" Like
Yeah,
it's
please.
a great experience.
We'll take.
So you've done the adjudication thing, and like I said, thank you so much for guiding me in that process. So since you've done so many body movement things and things like that, has there been a mistake that you've made that's actually like made you a better educator?
Well, just to clarify, I can clean any body stuff. I'm not a choreographer. And so I think a lot of people, they'll be like, hey, would you be interested in coming in and writing body for us? I'm like, nope, that's not my lane. Right. I want, Jim Moore to come in and write it, or Dudu's going to come in and write it, and I'm going to come in and clean it. I'm like the translator between the two, right? Cause sometimes you have choreographers, they'll come in real quick and teach 3 different versions of something, and then they're on to the next thing. And we're like, okay, what they meant was on count 8, this is where your body is, right? But in terms of like mistakes, I mean, the summer I decided it was okay to write 11 drills. Huge mistake. I mean, I probably had a 10-year-old and a 12-year-old at home. And every time I was sitting at my computer, I'm looking out the window and it's beautiful summer. And I'm like, huh. And then every time I'm out having fun, I'm like, I gotta finish this opener. And I like was never happy that summer. It just was like, I saw dollar signs and bills to pay. And I was like, enough people asked me to write their drill. I just kept saying yes. And then, I get halfway into it and, Erica is texting me and she's like, the end of the closer you just sent is pretty similar to the end of the opener. I'm like, shit. You're right. I when you have
Tying it all together.
I'm doing 11 closers right now, and none of them are the same, but like, yeah, I probably reused something. The drill is not like, it's not like you're reinventing the wheel every time you're doing drill, right? So, it made me better because I'm not writing drill this year. Erica, I wrote her drill for 10, 15 years, and I called her the other day and I was like, I'm sorry, I can't do it. I don't have the bandwidth right now. I don't have the passion for it. Um, you know, and I used my drill writing checks to pay for Indiana University for 7 years in a row, and my youngest just graduated. I'm like, I don't want to do it anymore. It doesn't bring me joy. I would much rather be spending my time, with my wife, or, with, doing things like this. And, next week I get to go out to Oklahoma and do a clinic with a group there, and then go to TBA. And I'm not going to be thinking about dots while I'm there. So,
Yeah. So what are you doing with TBA?
So we've reimagined the student day for TBA. We're calling it Student Summit, and it's going to be on a Saturday this year. And the leadership at TBA contacted me and just like, hey, you're running this week-long camp, and we're hearing good things about it. Would you help us? And so my role is really like just kind of I helped kind of put together some people and some ideas and some schedules, and then Jeremy Spicer with Sassy got involved, and the Ultimate Drill Book folks got involved, and so the combination of Bands of America, Sassy, and Ultimate Drill Book, we've kind of devised a day where we have color guard instruction, we have time at the exhibit hall, we have a movement session with me, we have Ultimate Drill Book best practices with Reed Atkinson. We've got a Q&A with Chris Yee and Jeremy Spicer and Richard Saucedo, where kids can ask questions and just kind of chat about band. Um, so we just kind of reimagined it. It's been on a Thursday for a while, and band camps are starting already for a lot of people. And so we're just trying to make sure that more students get the opportunity to have a day to meet students from other schools and nerd out on band stuff and get better with a few skills that they can take home. And this is the first year that we've taught color guard at Student Day, in my recollection. Michael O'Neill from Houston and my wife Danny they're going to be teaching the color guard next Saturday. Got a full day plan, probably 300 or 400 kids.
So what does your wife do full time?
She works for a company called Claim Doc, and I could explain it to you. It would take a while, but essentially, reference-based pricing is what her company is known for. And there's if you have Anthem or Blue Cross or Cigna or one of those big health cares that your benefits are through, there are some companies that can fund their own healthcare self-funded instead of using a Buka, which is those big companies. And her company comes in and they basically reprice medical claims to try to bring down health costs for businesses and employees. And there's not a lot that you can do to bring down healthcare costs nationwide, and their company is part of the solution to do that.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is that you and your family and just the mentality of that is to give back and to serve a whole lot. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I mean that's makes me happy for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's really sometimes that's a lot of times that's what we need. That gets lost a lot, especially nowadays in a day of like, oh, like I'm going to be an influencer on Instagram or whatnot. There's just a lot of people who don't live to serve anymore, So it's nice to hear that. So what advice would you give to young band directors?
Attend your MEAs. Go to the BOA Summer Camp Sweetwater Director Academy. And if there's somebody who is doing a really good job and you're like, I wish my band sounded like that, get their phone number and call them. One day I was on my way from the high school to the practice field. It's like a 2-minute drive, right? And my phone rings, Newbury Park, California, caller ID. I don't know anyway. Hello. And it like person on the other end was like, Jeff? And I'm like, yeah. And he was like, I'm sorry, I'm a little flustered because I didn't think you'd answer the phone. I just called Dynamic Marching. And I was like, I didn't know what I was going to get. And they're like, my name's Dennis and I'm a band director in California. Do you have a minute? I'm like, yeah, shoot. My rehearsal starts in 15 minutes. And so Dennis and I started chatting and he just had some really good questions about, teaching his marching band visually. And he was like, I can't believe you picked up the phone. I'm like, well, now you have my cell phone number. Just give me a call anytime. Well, it took a lot of guts for him. Like didn't know how to teach visual and he needed help and he watched the videos, but still had more questions. And he just took a leap of faith and was just like, I'm just going to call this person. Kind of like when I called Todd Ryan, you need to seek out mentors. They're not going to seek you out. And so find somebody who's balancing work and life and their band sounds good or looks good and they're good to the people around them and they care. Find one of those people who's been doing this 10 or 15 years and make them your mentor, or try a couple different people and see which one works. I think that's the most important thing. Most of the people I know will call you back or will answer your text or email and go, hey, I'm a little bit out of bandwidth right now, but I know somebody who can help you. That's really important. And it's really scary as a young band director. Now, I mean, fast forward to right now, Dennis, next year we're bringing jazz back to camp, the student jazz division, and he's going to be our division coordinator. So
Oh,
over the last 15 years, as I've hung out with him every Midwest and we're like good friends now, and I realized he is to high school jazz education what I am to visual. Like he knows all the cats and he knows all the music and he knows, he knows what he's doing in the jazz realm. And I was like, he's a kid magnet. Like, would you come to camp and run the jazz division? So that one phone call, created a friendship. He got better. And then now I'm benefiting from that friendship as well next year at camp. Um, one of Richard Saucedo's superpowers is empowering others. After I went and did that trip to California and stayed with Todd and learned from the Blue Devils team and all that, and we started getting better, he literally told anyone who would listen, if somebody commented, "Hey, the band looked great this weekend," he'd be like, "That's all Jeff." And like the more people he told that through his conversations with people, then, like W.L. Whaley, it's like one of the winningest band directors in Colorado, had the great band program at Pomona. He's calling me and he's like, "Hey, I heard you're really good at this stuff. Will you come out and spend a week with us?" And, that was all those gigs came because Saucedo talked to somebody and said, "Oh, you need to talk to Jeff if you want to figure out your visual stuff." And so that's another thing is just, I didn't seek out Saucedo. I was already working with him, but like when you seek out the right mentor, they're going to be that snowplow that clears the road in front of you. I wouldn't be talking to you right now as an expert in anything if he hadn't have cleared that road and let me just run. So,
Man, how was it working with Saucedo and Michael Pote at the same time?
we had it's hard to describe because like Saucedo's dad, we would have a cooking night once a year and his dad would teach us to make tacos and, like it's Super Bowl night. Who do you hang out with for the Super Bowl? Well, I hung out with the marching man or the band staff from Carmel. Like we literally, our families, our kids grew up together. We went through hardship together. There were some divorces in there. There was some challenges in life and kids and holidays and Super Bowls. And like, so we were working together, but what I missed the most about the early days, the 2000 to 2020 pre-COVID or whatever, is like we were, we did everything together and we got better together. We got really freaking good together, right? And so it just bonded us, and those bonds will never go away. If Saucedo is having a get together, I'm there. And then that circle has just grown. A bunch of like Chris Catholic, who's the head band director at Brownsburg High School here in town, great program. you know, um, now he's part of that circle. And then Jordan, teaches at O'Fallon and Brownsburg, and he was at Broken Arrow, and like that's part of the circle. And then Wes is the designer of Broken Arrow, and now Wes is part of my circle, and like it's really cool. I'm so blessed with a lot of connections and a lot of great people.
Yeah, I mean, it's that community we always strive to like have. I referenced this to the leadership team just recently about we said to strengthen our band community in one of our missions. And I said, I want to take out community and I want to replace that with family, because that's what we actually need to be. Not just, a community of band students, but we need to be a family of band students and what we are within this program. And like I told him, I go, look, I don't expect you to like each other all the time, because do you like your brother and your sister all the time? I think not. But you need to respect each other and understand each other's boundaries and love each other and support each other. And that's what I expect out of you. So I can only imagine what that was like on that staff.
I mean, we worked hard and we also had a good time together. So we still do.
So what's something you wish you would have known before getting into this side of things, like this part of the profession?
Just, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I would have listened, or like, it's like I have a 23-year-old son, and like, you just like, you think he's trying to figure out a place to live in Chicago and how to budget and like, but like he's open to it now because he really needs this information. Um, but like at age 19, he'd be like, I don't want to listen to this, right? So I do think those lessons come when you need them, and also lessons come because you did something messed up or you just didn't do something as well as you wanted to. Like I don't know. I mean, even going back and going, hey, you didn't get into med school. Don't worry, it's gonna be fine. You're gonna love your career. Um, I would I've listened. I don't know. Like you just that's a hard one to answer for me because I don't know. Um, I'm very blessed to get to do some really fun stuff in the marching arts right now. And who would have thought it, in high school that would have been something that I ended up doing, knowing that I was majoring in science.
Yeah. Well, and some of that comes to like you also have to be ready to receive the information.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you're just not like I can tell you that when I was in college, there was just certain things that I was not ready to receive. Even I mean, my first 5 years of teaching, there were plenty of things that people told me that I was just too stubborn to know any
Yeah,
different.
for sure.
I did think it's just one thing though. If you are a teacher and you hate it, there are other things you can do and still be involved in music education. And I never hated teaching, but like post COVID, like the year before COVID happened, I was like, I feel kind of bored. Like teaching the science that I was teaching, I wasn't bored with marching band teaching at all. That was still keeping me really engaged mentally. But like when it came, I was like, I've done this so many times. I'm like, I just don't know how to make it interesting to me anymore, which makes it hard for me to make it interesting to them. And I was like really open to what's next. And then, this job at Music for All opened up and I was like, yes, I'm ready for a change. And I want to, I'm not retiring, not at the age where I'm even interested in retiring, but I was ready for something else. And a lot of, I don't know who they is, but I always felt like they were making us feel like you have to work till your rule of 85. When your years of experience and your age reach 85, then you can retire and then you can do whatever you want. And then, when I finally decided to leave teaching and go to Music for All, they were like, okay, well, your pension, you're vested in your pension, when you're 60 something, you can start collecting it. And I was like, oh, okay. And they're like, certain, you've 10 year, if you're 10 years vested, you can do it at this age, and 15, go seek out that information. And, I just never did. And it felt really good after I left to go like, yeah, I really liked that. And now I'm going to really like this.
Yeah. And I could tell that you are really passionate about when you did your introduction to the camp. I was all like, this guy enjoys this moment.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was very. So what do you do when you're not banding?
So there's a CrossFit gym down the street. I do CrossFit. I don't do it like to see if I can lift the heaviest weights. I do it because there's a coach, and it's like a varied amount of exercise, different types of exercise. So like I'm really into CrossFit, but like not the way that some people are into CrossFit. For me, it's like, I know the times of day they're doing classes, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do one of those today, and I'm going to try to get 3 or 4 of them in this week. So that's a really good stress reliever for me, and helps me to stay in shape. Chris and Jordan and Zach and I and a couple other people go snowboarding and skiing once a year. That's kind of a guy's trip, and that's very refreshing for me. I like the snow, and I like, going up in the mountains. My wife and I like to go vacation in Michigan. We just got back from a little 4-day vacation. That was awesome. We walk all the time because our neighborhood is super walkable. And today it's like way too hot to do anything outside though.
Well, it's wet here. This has been the wettest summer of my life.
It's been raining constantly.
But yeah, Broadway musicals are a big I love Broadway musicals. Um, you know, like everybody else, I've got TV shows and movies that I watch, and
Awesome. Like it's just like I can I don't know. It just seems like you always have an iron in the fire.
well, it's been years, decades of coming to the place where like these opportunities are come to me. It's not like an accident, right? Like that we're on this program. I'm on this program because, we had an interaction that was positive, and, you know, I have some things to share with your audience because of my 20, 30 years of experience doing this, right? And so, if you're somebody who's a young teacher, like those things aren't just going to come to you right now. I feel like these irons in the fire are happening because I really care about teaching students and teaching teachers. I really care about the mission of camp. Um, an ultimate drill book's a good example. Like I get so excited about what they're doing, and it's an application that nobody else is making anything close to it. And they're doing such great for the community. So like when I get a chance to learn something new like that, I'm like, I'm going to learn it so that I could teach anybody how to do this. I'm actually doing a webinar for them tomorrow at 1, um, just for anybody who's trying to learn the app, because like I want to know it better than anybody else, because this is my whole life's work, is marching and movement, and this is like the sexiest, coolest app in our thing. So it's like, I try to be open to opportunities, and I'm just really fortunate.
No, and we interviewed Josh not too long ago
Yeah,
for the pod, and one of the things that I appreciate about him so much is that it's like I didn't realize how much of a family business
yeah,
UDB is.
Mhm.
yeah,
Like, and that was something that's really, I mean, that's getting harder and harder to find, where you find a true family business, and then a family business that cares about the whole entire community.
Mhm.
It's like an old fashioned mom and pop
yeah.
restaurant that is in the
That's cool.
middle of town. I mean, the kids are working there, the parents are working there, and, they give back to the community as often as they can.
Yeah, it's super cool.
And they're so innovative with what they keep putting out, and
Yeah,
all of their everything that they do. I'm always just like on the edge of my seat to see the next thing that the UDB guys come up with.
come on, the lock screen widget, it's
Mhm.
brilliant.
Yeah. Oh,
Like,
yeah. Yeah. And there's so much functionality, and like you said, you wanna know it better than everyone. There are so many things to know
yeah,
about using UDB and using it effectively,
yeah,
and I don't know, I'm a big fan, big
yeah,
UDB fan.
Well, and it's just like empowering the student, and like, and a big part of your role is empowering the director
yeah,
and the educator,
Mhm.
which
yeah.
in turn empowers the student, which in turns makes everything better. Yay! Let's be good. So what's something that you wish you could bring back? And I'm talking about anything. This is any type of nostalgia for you, just anything that has gone the way of the dinosaur.
Whoa, I didn't see that question ahead of time. Uh, God, you stumped me on this one. Something I could bring back. Okay. Standing in line without a cell phone,
Wow.
doing anything where you're waiting more than 10 seconds and not having a phone in your hands. Like, um, Danny and I both quit social media from March till June, 3 months. And like, I just like waited in line. Like it wasn't a big deal, but like it's these days it's people don't allow themselves to get bored, um don't allow their minds to calm down and just go to nothingness. And I think, if I think about, my, not even my childhood, like college, when I was in college, I had a teeny tiny little Nokia that I could call my parents with. And I don't even think like my roommates and I ever called each other on them, because you only had so many minutes, right? And so it was like this thing that you used for this purpose of communicating maybe with your parents or your grandparents or whatever, but it wasn't always in your hand. And I just really miss the days where it was okay to be bored and just watch sunset.
Yeah.
I remember driving back home from Corpus Christi and like looking out the window and actually just paying attention to the lights that were off in the distance. Like that is something I've thought about more often than what I should.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just like such a core memory. It being like dark, it's 8:30, and I'm just like, okay. Like for example, we have some tablets. My in-laws gifted them to our children. They're 4,
Yeah.
and here's my 4-year-old son going, I'm bored, and I'm like, boy, I'm gonna wear you out here in a second. Like, what do
Yeah.
you mean you are bored?
Yeah. Well, and the other response is that's okay. It's okay to
Yeah.
be bored.
Mm-hmm.
And the 4-year-old's going to be like, no, it isn't. You're like, trust me. It's okay to have a day or an afternoon or an hour where like you're just really bored. It's actually probably good for your brain and a little cortisol wipe,
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was like the nice thing about, I'm going to say this, the nice thing about COVID, it gave you an appreciation to like how connected to people that we do need to be, and how much access we have to that. But I can tell you what, like I went on probably more walks during that time
Yes, we did.
than any other time,
Yeah.
just because I was quote unquote
Well,
bored.
I was also pregnant.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
we couldn't do very much. So we just walked. And
Yeah.
that was nice. Just
Yeah.
you're at home in the middle of the day and you can go on a walk.
It's
That's
awesome. I love a good walk.
That's such a hard concept as like a band director. It's like I'm at home in the middle of the day.
A lot of times when Danny and I go on walks, one of us will leave our cell phone at home. Like we bring one, and I don't know if we need one, but like, well, at least one person will leave it at home and the other person has it in case of an emergency or something. But yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I remember because everybody was working on their lawns.
Yeah.
Like that was a huge thing during COVID.
We were in an apartment during COVID, so we didn't have a lawn. But
let me tell you what, doing yard work is not one of my favorite things.
It's a privilege to have, a nice yard and everything, but it is a commitment.
Yes, it really is. So, and this is a weird question for you, because if it wasn't band, what would have it been?
I mean, probably I really am interested in what my wife does, but it's something like nobody knows. Like she's not in a career where you're like, I want to be a doctor or a lawyer or a nurse or, like it's corporate, it's finance, it's sales, it's producing new revenue for an organization. But a lot of what it is teaching. You're teaching about the various options that are out there for, an HR person or a CFO who's looking to, in some cases save millions of dollars for their companies and bring healthcare costs down. It's really interesting to me, but I never would have known about it back in the day. But, I chose a career that where like, and you guys did too, where it's like, at best, I can look on the computer and go, okay, 15 years from now, I'm going to be making that unless we get a raise. And you're like, wow, I got a $2,000 raise for being there another year. And, we didn't go into this to make money. And there's a lot of places where you could make a lot more money, but also make an impact on other people, so that's my short answer, I guess.
I'd say many times, many times, uncountable number of times that Jose has looked at the pay scale and been like,
yeah. And then you start dividing your hours into it. That's a depressing thing. Don't ever do that, kids.
Yeah.
So
I remember there was one year, I think it was the year I wrote 11 drills, where I made like the same amount in my teaching salary and my 1099 marching band work. And I was like, whoa, I just doubled my salary, but I had to hustle a lot.
oh yeah.
Right. You're always playing that game.
So you touched on this a little bit earlier. So do you have a guilty pleasure TV show?
I mean, I'm really embarrassed. I'm watching it, like it's probably still on pause in the other room, but it's Love Island UK.
Oh my goodness.
I've never seen it before, but I watched the first episode and I was like, this is hilarious. I'm going to watch this.
I love that.
What's the one with Lana? I always end up watching these shows with just completely clueless bird brain, 20 somethings that are trapped in a house.
I don't even know.
Oh, so you're like into like Big Brother. Did you ever
No, I've
like?
never. This is the first. I think what's the other one? Too Hot to Handle, and those are the only
Oh,
ones I've ever watched where I was just like, how did I even get here?
have you ever tried Love Is Blind?
Didn't like it. I tried
Mm,
it. Didn't care for that one.
yeah.
But also just love good TV too. Like we just finished The Bear, and like that's not a guilty pleasure. That's like
Yeah.
legit amazing TV.
So you watched the fourth season?
Yeah,
We haven't started it yet. We haven't started the fourth season.
it's awesome.
That's good to hear. I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to it.
I love Matty Matheson.
Yeah, I do too.
He's so funny.
I have his
Is
cookbook
that
over
Richie? Wait, who's Maddie Matheson?
there. What is his character's name? Is it Ned?
He's the big burly one with
don't
all the
remember his name.
tattoos.
Well, yeah, he's funny.
I don't remember his name.
But he's a real chef.
He is.
Yes, he is actually the like chef consultant on the show.
I thought he was a comedian. Okay.
Yeah,
He kind of is.
See, like he
Yeah.
is so funny. But yeah, he has like a cook.
Yeah,
he has
season
several
4,
cookbooks.
Richie's character arc is amazing.
Mm.
Just amazing.
Yeah, well, you see the growth between the beginning to where he goes to the restaurant to Shadow, like that growth within there until when he comes back to the restaurant, like so
Polishing the
good.
silverware.
His name is Neil.
Neil,
Yeah.
Neil Fack. That's what it is on the show.
But yeah, the Fack brothers.
Yes. He has a cookbook. He has several cookbooks, but the one I have is soups, salads, and sandwiches.
Okay.
And the stuff that he makes is just really interesting. And I don't know. He has a fun YouTube channel. He's fun to follow on Instagram because he's legitimately funny, but he can also cook.
What you see on the show is actually, I think, him in real. He's not acting. Like he is.
I think he's
like,
just
that's the way he is.
The mentality of like a 11-year-old boy.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Well, okay. So you're into fitness. You're into health. So what is your gluttonous meal? Like if you just had an option to just pig out and just like you're gonna pay the price, what is that meal?
I don't know. We ate really well this weekend. Like I like last night we took my dad out for his birthday and went to Capri restaurant, which is my favorite Italian place in Indianapolis, and I had chicken lasagna. It was fantastic. And then at lunch on Saturday, I had a Reuben at Fat Dan's Deli, and that was awesome. And then we went to Fernando's and I had a burrito. Yeah, but I ate a lot this weekend. I will eat plenty of food. I just work it off when I can.
You're like, I'm just gonna do some damage control on this. All right, so I got some quick fire, not so quick fire questions for you. All right, so these are gonna be you'll see. All right. Oh no. Oh. Greatest musical of all time.
I mean, my favorite or greatest?
It's up to you. What your greatest is
Both.
might be different for. Oh, okay. You know what? Give us both.
I think In the Heights is perfect. It's really good. Now, it's not like the most intricate musical book. Obviously West Side Story's Pit Orchestra book is phenomenal, right? But I really resonated with In the Heights. Have you seen that one?
I haven't seen that one.
It's about the Washington Heights area and the Latin community in New York. It's really good.
Yeah.
We'll have to put that on the list.
Yeah, it's Lin-Manuel.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, I just saw Come From Away this weekend. It was incredible. Les Mis, Beauty and the Beast is probably the one I'm been most obsessed with for the longest, because somebody I went to high school with was Belle on Broadway.
Oh.
And I just super got into that one. Yeah, I could go on and on about Broadway.
I like a good musical.
Yeah, we need to go see one.
Yeah.
I would love to go do that.
Well, it's not
When you
very
grow up,
often.
You need
That's
to
how I
subscribe
feel.
to the local. Well, you don't need to, but like we subscribe to Broadway in Indianapolis, and so everything that comes to town, we just go see it. And I think that's been really cool because you don't have to think, should we buy tickets?
Yeah.
Should we buy good ones or balcony ones? And it's like, no, just we're gonna buy the season. So Yeah.
That's like the best thing for us to do, I think, in that regard would be in Dallas. They get all the touring musicals at the Fair Park.
Yeah, we just need to commit to something like that.
Yeah, because that would
But
be
like,
awesome.
the musical I've been well, my favorite storytelling musical right now, or it has been for the past couple of years, is The Last 5 Years.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
So it's cool. They made a movie and all this kind of stuff, but it's about a married couple and they intersect in the middle. So what it is that they end up getting divorced. And you see one side of the story.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Well, you find out.
It kind of starts
Yeah, it starts that way.
Right.
But the it moves from her point of view at the end of the marriage and goes backwards, and his side starts at like the beginning and goes forward. And so they meet in the middle of it. And so I really enjoy that storytelling. But the musical I've been actually listening to is The Color Purple.
Really?
Yes.
Haven't seen that one.
Like Cynthia Erivo?
Yeah, I have it. See, look right there.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Wow, good for you.
I've been listening to that one. I mean, so good. So are you excited
It's
about
weird when
Wicked
you
2?
guys look at each other because I'm in the middle of you. I'm like, you're
Yeah,
looking
sorry.
through my skull at each other. It's
Yeah,
weird.
sorry. So are you excited for Wicked 2?
Absolutely. 100%. Love the first one was awesome.
Yeah.
It was so
yeah.
good. Our daughter has
She's
gone
obsessed.
full throttle on Defying Gravity. And so on the car ride, we have to drive 30 minutes to work, but she will absolutely just unleash.
She goes ham.
Awesome.
So,
Yeah.
okay, Taylor, who would you rather listen to? Taylor Swift, Miley Cyrus, or Ariana Grande?
I'm a big Taylor Swift fan. I mean, I think I'm really disappointed I didn't get to go to the Eras tour. My wife saw it twice. I've watched it on Apple TV or whatever it's on, Disney, I forget. Yeah, I've watched it on that channel 6-7 times. I think it's incredible pageantry.
Yes.
I love her poetry. I think Ariana Grande is great and Wicked, but like her pop music, I'm like, eh. But I'm a huge Justin Bieber fan. We saw him in concert 2 years ago.
Well, he just released a new album.
Did he? I'm
Yeah.
going to have to take a listen.
pretty
Yeah,
sure.
I heard one song off of it. I wasn't sure if it was a single or an album. I got to look that up.
I thought it was an album, but maybe
Oh,
not.
We'll find out.
I just saw it and it was like a surprise drop, I guess.
Yeah.
And I was
I mean, do you remember the oh no, it was an album. Justin Bieber dropped
Okay.
a whole entire album. Yes.
I'll check it out.
You have a favorite rom-com?
Boy, give me a list. I don't even know if that's like a genre I would seek out.
name like 5 rom-coms,
Yeah.
Jose.
Oh, you want me to name 5?
Yeah.
Okay, Just Right.
No.
That's
You've got
your
Mail.
favorite.
Yeah, it is my favorite. You've Got Mail.
Nope.
When Harry Met Sally. She's Out of My League.
I guess I don't like this genre.
Oh man, I love it.
This is Jose's favorite
Oh,
genre.
it is. Love New York is another one. She
These are
Doing
all these
very-
all on the Hallmark channel or something?
no.
You're naming very obscure ones.
No. Is As Good as It Gets a rom-com?
Not
Really?
particularly.
Or
I don't
what's
think.
the other
Oh.
one?
What was the one with Bill Murray in Japan?
I don't know.
Bill Murray in Japan. Now you got me stumped.
Would you call Ghostbusters a rom-com?
No,
No.
maybe
Kind of.
sci-fi rom-com.
Yeah, not a rom-com guy. Even though I'm very romantic. Not a rom-com guy.
Not a rom-com guy.
Ooh, very romantic. What's the most romantic thing you've done for your wife?
So many things. Last night I made her a tray of girl dinner that was like all of the things she likes to eat. She doesn't,
I shouldn't have asked that because I just
I
got
know. I was going to say, you should.
there was like crackers and cheese, and there was chips and dip, and there was sourdough with fresh basil pesto that I made, and some feta, and then another piece of sourdough that had, we call this Steve Young toast because my dad eats it all the time, but like olive oil, almond butter, and honey.
That sounds good.
That does sound good.
Yeah, you could learn a few things that aren't
Hey.
banned from Jeff.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. All right.
Is pineapple acceptable on pizza?
I don't like it.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
I would never eat a hot dog. As in this current me right now, I would not eat a hot dog.
Is
Fourth
it a
of July-
sandwich?
Is it a sandwich?
It's not a sandwich.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you have something against the hot dog?
Yeah. I mean, it's just like
A lot.
that's a level of trash food I just can't. I cannot stoop that low.
This is a hard reset from the last podcast where we were talking about like the Tammy's ideal meal is a hot
The hot
dog.
dog.
Yeah.
It is. It's like it swung the other direction.
I'd eat a vegan hot dog though, with
Oh.
mustard
Yeah.
and
sure.
jardinera.
Ooh, that doesn't sound bad.
Toilet paper over or under?
It has to be over. I don't understand. Danny and I just had this conversation. She doesn't care. Like, so she'll just put it on anyway, but somehow it always ends up under. And I'm like, are you doing this on purpose? And she said, no. And I was like, okay, because it seems like you are. But no, she just doesn't think. She just puts it, she doesn't care. But like, I think over for sure.
You know, that's a question that we ask our guests that is like very strong.
It's a very
it-
divisive question.
Yes. Okay. So let me ask you this. Do you have a favorite candy bar?
I would say 88% dark chocolate of any brand that's reputable at all.
Okay.
Not like Snickers or
Oh.
Milky Way.
What's your favorite chocolate brand? Do you have one?
I think it's called Endangered Species. They have it at Fresh Time.
Is a black belt and brown shoes acceptable?
Light brown shoes, yes.
Hmm.
Dark
Okay.
brown shoes, no.
Okay. Since you've been part of the marching arts, do you have a favorite stand tune?
Yes, Seven Nation Army.
Do you have a stand tune that you hate to hear?
Purdue fight song or Michigan fight song.
Have you seen Air Force One?
Like Harrison Ford?
Yes.
I made a long time ago.
Okay, because like you say that, and all I can think of is the scene where he's recorded the Notre Dame game,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
like he
I love
doesn't
it.
want anybody to tell him the
Yeah.
score.
That's also like a plot line in The West Wing.
Yeah,
One
it
of
is.
the episodes. Yeah.
You went to Notre Dame. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ted
that's the
Bartlett.
entire thing.
Yeah.
Who do you text the most?
My wife or Chris, Catholic, or Philip. I don't know.
Do you have a favorite store
Like for clothes or
or whatever you want? A store that you enjoy going to?
probably. I don't know. You stumped me on that one. I mean, I like H&M just fine, but it's not like I don't go there often.
Hey, you know what? For me, it's a grocery store. It's
Yeah.
HEB down here in
I know
Texas.
the HEB.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's a store in our little village here called Rusted Moon. It's like hiking stuff and outer like gloves and shoes and hiking boots. And I don't ever buy anything in there, but I like going in there.
Yeah.
If you had a walk-up song, what would it be?
Happiness 1975 by the 1975.
What's a good spy code name for you?
I have no idea.
Okay, let me ask you this. What is your favorite visual?
In marching band,
Yes,
the ground roll.
the ground roll. Oof. Is there a visual you dislike more than others?
The kneel.
Is there a movie you enjoy quoting the most?
Alrighty then. Love Jim Carrey. I
was
quote
good.
Dumb and Dumber and Ace Ventura quite often.
It was good.
I was not that one. That one got me.
He was ready for it.
Do you have a hidden talent?
This is an awesome podcast, guys. You're good.
So do you have a hidden talent?
Hidden talent. I mean, I have a pretty good handstand.
You know, we used to have a music professor who would do solfege upside down while doing a handstand. Yeah, Claybrook. Get out
I
of here.
never took his class. I'm
Oh my
sorry.
goodness! If someone played you in a movie, who would it be?
Harrison Ford. I don't know.
Oh,
Good answer.
yeah. I mean, that's a great
Get
answer.
off my plane.
So, do you have a favorite action movie?
I love a good action movie. I don't like the ones where I don't like Marvel movies. I don't like superhero movies really, where it's like huge ending and then another huge ending and then another. I like traditional storytelling where like there has an arc, you know, there's like a rising action and then, you know, everything gets resolved or it doesn't at the end. Like, so those movies kind of throw me off, but I went to go see the new Mission Impossible by myself last week because I knew she wouldn't go with me, and it was good.
I like the mission. I like them. I like
You watch those frequently.
Oh, what's the show that I watch?
Show?
Yes, that's on Amazon Prime.
Oh, Jack Reacher?
Jack Reacher.
Yeah, I like a good Jack Reacher.
How do you feel about John Wick?
Haven't seen any of them, but I have watched the Instagram of him practicing his shooting at Terran Tactical, and like he can really shoot.
Yeah. He went through
I like to go shooting. And like, you know, sometimes my Instagram, you know, you click on one thing and they're like, oh, so you want to see everything about shooting? I'm like, no, I liked one. I like the other day, like I got 7 ads for holsters. Like I'm never going to wear a holstered gun, right? I own a gun. I'm not going to go holster it and take it anywhere. But like, yeah. So,
well, you know, you can come down to TBA and you can.
I know you can open carry anywhere where you guys live, but I don't have a need or want to do that. So
no, I respectable. Do you have a favorite food?
So many. Raspberries, fresh pesto. I literally make a perfect egg sandwich every time. Yeah.
Well, okay. So let me ask, since you seem like you're a foodie, if you could take your wife to any one restaurant in the world, not have to worry about a bill or anything, where would you go?
I'd probably do French Laundry. Even though like French food is not like necessarily my genre, but like it's widely regarded as the most amazing experience eating you're going to have. So like, there.
Yeah.
Was Thomas Keller in The Bear? I think he was.
I think so.
In the 3rd season.
He made an appearance. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We like good dining just as much as the next person.
Yeah.
Like we've seen every episode of Diners, Drive-ins, and Dives this month. Like I'm serious. Like we watched at least 2 or 3 a day, just randomly, or a couple before bed. And now we've switched to Parts Unknown by Anthony Bourdain.
That's so good. Yeah.
Yeah. Love food TV.
Yes. Believe me, yes. Do you have a favorite book?
Anything Tom Clancy, Blake Crouch. Actually, they just made a TV series out of the Silo series. That's a great book series. I mean, I've read 32 books this year, so probably like I don't know that I could mention a favorite, but I've been really into some historical fiction recently. I read The Bomber Mafia by Malcolm Gladwell. It was interesting. Yeah, I just love reading. I have a library card and I get the Libby app, and I just one after another audiobook always in the car.
Yeah.
That sounds a lot like you, Alexa.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah.
Too.
So if you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Healing. Like as I get older, something always hurts. And especially doing CrossFit, like when you're working out consistently, you're going to hurt more. Healing. Is that a superpower? I don't know.
That is
that's
a superpower.
Good answer, yeah.
I mean, Wolverine, that's his
true.
That's his superpower.
Yep.
And Deadpool.
True. 2 very different characters. If you could have any fictional character as a best friend, who would it be?
Fictional character. I just want to meet Gaston. I don't know if I want him to be my friend.
Sure.
But like he's a riot.
Yeah.
Oh, what's his counterpoint? The fool. Yeah. What's your most used emoji? You sent me a heart.
Where did the pink heart come from? Like one of the iOS changes recently, the one that's most like that's right above when you hit the emojis is always the pink one. I'm like, I thought it was always the red heart, and now there's a pink and a red heart. And apparently with kids, they mean different things. So I don't know. To adults like me, it's like it's just a heart. It means love it.
Yeah. Well, have you seen how kids like will now do the heart thing differently from what we used to do? Have you ever seen those videos? So like you say like, hey, make a heart with your hands, and like this is the way we do it.
Yeah.
Well, now the kids are doing this.
Yeah, I cannot even do it.
So you do this. Yeah. Well, it's the same thing. Like, how do you pick up the phone? Or how do you like hang up the phone? Like, how would you show me someone, hey, pick up the phone and hang up the phone?
Like that? Like actually
yeah.
like
A lot of the kids now just do. Yeah, that's what they're doing. They're like, or pressing a button.
I
Yeah,
saw a kid
swipe.
with a flip phone today.
Like, it's just so interesting, like the era that we kind of grew up in,
Yeah.
and now how it's like shifting.
Yeah.
It weirds me out. It makes me feel old.
It weirded me out because I've never seen like in person one of those. I don't know if it's a Samsung, but like the screen folds.
Oh yeah.
And he pulled it out of his pocket and flipped it open and like put it up to his ear, and I was like, "What just happened?"
You have a flip phone? What is it? You know, 2002?
Well, it was crazy. Yeah, I was like, "What's going on?" But,
Or like, did you watch Adolescence?
mm-mm.
Whoa. That's some good TV. It's heartbreaking, but good. Watch that one. But like, there's a whole thing in there about the manosphere and some different things. But like, the emojis came into it where it was like the detective's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "He liked this," and the kid's like, "No, that's a yellow heart. That means." And I don't remember what it meant, but I was like, "Oh, I don't understand what any of that means." So
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah, there's a sub genre of
Like, if
everything.
I start using the word Riz, they're not using it. So
Oh yeah.
it's like way past me knowing what hip is.
If you could invent a holiday, what would you celebrate?
I don't know. I don't know on that one.
Jeff, I feel like you're generally not stumped by questions, but here we are.
Yeah, I don't know. That one nothing comes to me on that one.
What would you celebrate?
What would I celebrate?
Yeah.
French fry day. Every
I'm
day.
sure that's a day.
Yeah,
already.
I want to eat French fries or some like version of French fries.
Sure.
Like poutine, here for it.
Yeah.
Like the potato is the ultimate like food item.
You have a lot of love for the potato.
I do have a lot of love. You can make a papa fritas. You can make French fries, the waffle fry, like baked potato. Like,
can you say papa fritas again?
papa fritas.
Yeah, that's awesome.
If you could learn any one other language, what would it be?
Spanish.
Respect.
Followed by Italian.
I can get behind that. French is like further down on that list.
I got way into the Duolingo app last year or 18 months ago, because we thought we were going to go to Italy when my son was there for school. And then we bought a house and it was like, oh, we can't go to Italy because we need to buy a driveway and a sidewalk and a fence and, all this other stuff. So we ended up not going to Italy, but it's on our radar.
Yeah.
Well, I know someone who's taking a vacation in Italy. If you want to tag along.
My niece and nephew and my brother-in-law are now dual United States Italian citizens.
Yeah.
And so my sister is like, it's like, because her spouse is an Italian citizen, like she can do the thing, but the language standards are really tough. So she takes an Italian class every Monday night for like 2 hours.
I didn't know she was doing that.
Yeah, she's done it for a while. She's trying to, I guess, pass the Italian language citizenship test.
Duolingo is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's like a game.
Whatever she's in, she sends me like a Snapchat of it. There's like a Zoom and you like have to speak and converse with the teacher and like the other people, and there's like written stuff. Yeah. But yeah, they rented a castle, I guess, in Tuscany, and like they're gonna go. My parents are gonna go, and they're like, "You guys can come too." And it's like, "Oh, I don't think we can. We have 3 kids, and yeah." So
yeah, they were like, "Oh, you can come. You don't have to worry about paying for anything except for your flights."
And we're like, "There's 5 of us,
$100 a piece."
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, I enjoy paying my mortgage.
Yeah,
exactly.
Do you have a favorite season?
I mean, I really like the fall is marching band. Obviously, I like, but in Indiana, like it's still blazing hot, and in Texas too, it's still blazing hot mid-fall. So like, there's like a month in there where it's just gorgeous, but I really love the spring. Really, really dislike the winters here in Indiana.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
Gray and cold.
Do you have a karaoke song?
I don't do karaoke. If I had to do karaoke, I don't know. I'd need to see a list, and I'd probably be like in the 90s rap genre and not singing.
Oh, okay. 90s rap. Do you have a 90s rap artist you leaned towards?
I was way into rap in the 90s, so like all of it, Ice Cube, Easy Dr. or not Dr. Dre yet, NWA, like all the stuff that like a suburban kid shouldn't be listening to.
Wow. So, if you could have dinner with any 3 people, who would they be? Dead or alive?
Oh, why don't you let me prepare these questions?
I know. He sent you the other
Sent you
ones.
the easy questions.
That's a tough one. Now it's just gonna be this awkward long silence. I don't know. Pass.
Second person to do that. Okay.
That was
What's
too much thought involved. It's too late. It's bedtime.
all right? This is your last quick fire question. All right. What's one word you want people to associate with you?
Excellence.
Good answer.
All right. And this is our last 2 questions of the pod. Okay. All right. Is there a Dairy Queen in your hometown?
Yes, there was. And you could walk to it from the marching band field, and Matt Black used to track the drum line over there, but I don't think it's still there.
Okay. That Dairy Queen. So you knew it was there. Do you have a Dairy Queen order?
I liked the dilly bar. I think that's the one that has the peanuts in it.
Yeah. Does it?
But
Nobody
like
said the
do we
dilly bar.
like food at Dairy Queen? No.
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 Yeah.
I don't
can't
eat
do it.
fast food.
We asked that question because a lot of our, like, we're from small towns and a lot of our listeners are from small towns in Texas. And that's Dairy Queen is like a Texas stop sign because your small town can have nothing, but there'll be a Dairy Queen. So,
So I haven't had, nobody said the dilly bar.
no, most people have a blizzard order or a dip cone,
Yes.
but dilly bar.
The dilly bars were like the prepackaged dipped vanilla on
Yeah.
a stick with peanuts.
Oh.
I mean, it's pretty solid.
I mean,
I promise you, I swear, I have never eaten food at Dairy Queen.
I would say most people don't, honestly.
Yeah, most people. I'm not most people. I will eat food at a Dairy Queen.
I've also only had Taco Bell once
Oh.
in my life.
How was that experience for you?
Terrible. It was awful.
What did I say? I like we ate something the other day, and I said I got some what did I say?
I don't know what you're talking about, so I can't help you out.
Oh, I was in gestational distress.
Oh no.
Gastrointestinal distress.
Yeah, I was all like, I got some. Ooh.
Because it's gestational, I'd be impressed.
I'd say, yeah, I would do.
Jose's having a baby. Whoa! So yeah, I think that's all I got.
I have one question for Jeff. That's is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
Oh,
Sometimes Jose asks that
yeah,
one.
kind of. It's a great movie.
We
I mean,
talked about
I
action
don't
movies.
know if you watch it now. Is it still good?
I mean, I think
It was
so.
great at the time, but
I watch Die Hard as like nostalgia,
yeah,
but it's a good action movie, I guess.
I could see it's a Christmas movie. I mean, there was a lot of violence in Home Alone too.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah,
Less blood,
That's a
but just
great-
as much violence.
there's a lot of violence.
Fun fact. Last thing I'll leave you with this. Tyler told me he was bored when he was in maybe a senior or not a senior, like a freshman in high school. And he was really into videography. I've always been into videography, and it was Christmas time. And I was like, let's recreate a scene from Home Alone, like shot for shot, but make it our own. And so he like booby trapped the whole house, and he wrote the script, and I filmed it, and he and Connor acted in it, and it just all took place in our house, and put it up on my ex-wife's YouTube channel, and it has 8 million views.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
It's pretty good.
That's crazy.
What's the title of that clip?
I think Home Alone tribute video or 25th anniversary Home Alone video. Let's see.
That's fun.
We're gonna get some more views off of that now.
Yeah, 3 million views. Sorry, not 8 million, but
Oh, that's still like a lot of views.
yeah, Home Alone 25th anniversary tribute. It's ridiculous.
That's awesome.
I'm gonna watch it after this
we
pod.
gotta watch it.
So, well, I think that's all I have.
That's definitely all I have. Thanks for talking to us. Thanks
Yeah.
for
Thanks for having
dropping
me.
some
Appreciate
knowledge.
it.
Yeah.
You guys should have Bobby on next.
Okay, sure. If we can pin him down, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for listening to Band Yap. We'll see you next time. Bye.
We out.
Bye.